Hello and welcome. It's Thursday night, so you know that means I'm going to be here live on YouTube. We've got one more week. No, we got another week before the holidays. I'm already in Christmas time. We got one more week before the holidays starts. So I will be taking a break the week of Christmas. But for now, you still got me. And we've got a couple of returning panelists, which I'm excited about. I'm always enjoying new people and giving new perspectives. It's great. You can learn a lot about people, hearing different perspectives and being open. When you join the chat, make sure you drop your city and state so I can shout you out and see where everybody is watching from. All right, I'm going to give you the topics for tonight, what we are going to be getting into. I asked the guys, for those of you who are not married but want to be, what are you most looking forward to when it comes to love? Then we have a submitted question. If a woman was wearing a diamond ring on her right hand, would it keep you from approaching her? This one was kind of fun. I said, women can't resist a blank, and the guys added it in. The next one was, women think we love blank, but we really don't. The last question is, what is the most important lesson you've learned from past relationships? So we're tackling all of that today on tonight's show. Let me go ahead and see who's backstage to join me. Good to see you, Ray. Nice to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Very nice. Always glad we don't scare people off. Okay. And you were tuning in from Maryland. Very nice.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, y'all are on it. Okay. Natisha is here from Killeen, Texas. I hope I'm saying it right. Kenny is faithfully watching from Washington, D.C., and he just finished walking. Always consistent with your miles, sir. Janice says, happy Thursday from Brooklyn, New York. Hey, girl, we got to get you on the show. And we have, doggone it, I should know by now who DA is, tuning in from Boston, Massachusetts. But I cannot remember, or unless I'm thinking of Dark Clouds. But good to see you. And Natisha said, even if it's on the opposite hand. Okay, so interesting. Kenny asked, are you going to do a singles mixer next year just for refreshing? That is something we should definitely talk about because I saw the post. Well, we will be talking about it soon because I just asked the guys the other day. Did you happen to see that one where I said, why don't single guys go to mixers? Did you happen to catch that one? It was like 2 days ago, Ray.
I did not, unfortunately.
Oh, that's okay. You can always go back and look. But I thought that was interesting because what sparked me is, I'm friends with Latarius Whitfield, who is the host of Dear Future Wifey. I know a couple other people who have huge platforms. And then I just happened to see Black Love posted that they are canceling their event because there were like 8 guys who showed up compared to the hundreds of women who RSVP'd. And they have like 4 million viewers. It's like some crazy high number. So, or followers. So I'm like, if they can't get guys to come. So I've been finding out men are just fundamentally opposed to those things. And then I asked the guys why in the group, and the answers were so interesting. I'll be posting them here. So those are in the queue. But if you wanted to skip ahead, you got direct access to the page. So feel free to look. It was like yesterday, I think I posted that.
I think that's crazy because, I mean, I'm not a single man, but if you told me 8 guys to 100 girls, I'm like, oh, that's a target-rich environment.
Hello? Yeah. So
that's just me, but I mean, I can understand it might have been maybe a bit intimidating because I'm like, but at least I would say, in my day, I did attend mixers, whether it was personal or professional, it's just the whole, oh, I don't know anybody. And it was like, there was a time you didn't know anyone. So that's how you get to know people.
Yeah,
but
facts.
It's just my opinion. That's all.
I mean, it's very valid, sir. Oh my gosh. All right. So we've got Willie said he's coming on in a few. He's dealing with his new puppy. And then we've got a couple other people who are joining us. By the way, anybody who wants to come on the show, you are welcome to. I was like, who is this backstage? You and these names, you and Willie with the crazy names. But hey there. Hey guys.
Uh-oh.
So if anyone wants to join the show, ladies, the Patreon post, well, everyone, the Patreon post is listed on the Patreon post. The backstage link is listed on Patreon. And then for the men, I posted on the men's page. So feel free to jump in. Look, we all know our opinions. We welcome new thoughts, new opinions. It's not I was gonna say the Yonci show, but kind of technically is. Not when it comes to my thoughts, though. It's Yonci and friends. So it is a show, but I want you guys to be the ones that share the information, which is the whole premise for Yonci Nation. All right. If you have just come in, but you haven't said hello, please say hello, drop your city and state so I can shout you out. And of course, please smash that like button and let YouTube know that you are enjoying the show because the algorithm needs to know. If you are still here on Instagram, then I assume you just don't know where to find the live show because it ain't here. This is just the side of my face. The live show's on YouTube. Just type in Chasing Yancy or head on up to my story and click the link there. Kenny said Uncle Jacob is early tonight. Early. That was a very effective pocket knife there, sir. Let's say whoosh, and open it right on up. Goodness.
This knife is.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen someone just cut sideways with one hand and not like supporting it and doing this. Like he just said, whoosh.
This knife is very sharp. It's a
clearly
carbon fiber knife.
Goodness gracious. All right, so I know the names go away, but we have when I have the titles up, but we've got Ray here. Are we going by Ruben tonight, sir? Because I will call you Ruben.
I might have used it for something else. That's cool.
Oh, all right. Role playing, I see. And we got Willie Beeman in the house. Good to have you, sir. Good to have you. All right, so we're going to jump right in. This question was the first one. What is the most important lesson you've learned from past relationships? I'm actually going to see if I can answer that also. So before I get into what the guys have to say from the page, what are your thoughts? What are some things that you learned from past relationships, positive or negative? Why are you grinning like you know where the bodies are hidden?
I'm just smiling.
Oh, you're just smiling? I don't know if you got another text, or phone call.
What I learned from past dating is, at this big age, is that I gotta be politically correct.
You don't gotta be PC about it. Just keep it real. Trust me, this is not a Senate Arms Committee, okay? You won't be prosecuted.
Shit, are you seeing these comments?
I don't know, man. Something happens to women after at like 35. They become like horny teenagers, and become more forward about their sexual activities. That's what I learned. I have been solicited for sex more times.
Oh, it froze. Is that YouTube censoring?
No, one of those females attacked him.
Right, cyber attack. You froze, so that's why we were like, wait, what's happening? No, I think it's such a cruel sense of our biology where guys peak, in their younger years and they can't get enough. And then women, tend to be like whatever. But then as a woman ages, then her hormone levels like shoot through the roof. So it's like missing each other for the most people. So that's wild. B Garnett. Hey, good to see you. Kaylee says hi. Hello. Oh, Alicia's here. She is here from, I just scrolled by accident. From Oakland. Yay, Callie in the house. Let's see. Anyone else? Oh, Lenny from Baltimore. Nice. Kenny asked if I'm eating. I'm actually not. I didn't make dinner in time, so I'm just prepared to starve tonight and hopefully not pass out. Let's see. Natisha says, or Natisha, I learned I was choosing men I thought I could fix based on imaginary potential. That's a good thing to realize so you could stop. She said, whose dog that fur baby wants love. Janice learned, don't lower your standards because your standards are your protection.
Okay. Let me answer that now because now that I had to formulate an actual thought behind that. Mm-hmm. One thing that I would say that I've learned from previous relationships is that don't believe the expectation that every woman wants to be married. Some women, especially at the age of 35 and up, some of them are so comfortable and set in their ways of never being married, never having kids, and they're perfectly fine by that. But
Yeah.
if you meet someone at that certain age mark, don't sit there and say, "Oh, something's wrong with her." I was like, "No, she's comfortable doing her. Maybe she got too many past traumas where she's just like, you know what? It may have been an idea, but then she sees so many of her friends who are married with kids that are basically held down because they can't do anything because they have kids or they're in a marriage and it sucks. So they're like, yep, never being me." But that is something I would say I've absolutely learned. It was like not every woman wants to be married or have kids.
Okay. By the way, welcome to the show, Greg. Great to have you
Thank
back.
you. Yes, thank you. It's good to be back. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Um, let's see, Lenny. It's Lenny. Wait, Laney. Wait, what's that regards to? Oh, Laney. Duh. It's literally in the name. Okay, Laney. Perfect. What did I say, Lenny? Laney. Good, good, good. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Nice to have you guys. As always, if you are enjoying the show, please smash that like button. And if you really like the show and you want to support, please go ahead and hit a super chat. Or if you want to be incredible, you can send me a Cash App or Zelle. Okay. If anyone wants the information, I'll put it up on the screen. If you guys want to show some love. And of course, you can always do a love offering or you can extend the show, which is $1 a minute. Y'all know the drill. Okay. Anybody here for the first time, the very, very first time? This is your maiden voyage. Good to have you, Willie. So the way the show works is Ruben's new too. Okay. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you are new. We are talking about the most important lesson you've learned from past relationships. I haven't had a ton of relationships. I've, met with people and gotten to know them. Only had a few actual relationships since I was married for over a decade. But what I realized is that friendship is so important. I think, it's great that you have the chemistry, but I think fundamentally, if you can just enjoy each other on a random day, you can get through so much because you're not always going to feel those butterflies. There's not always going to be crazy, crazy chemistry at times when life is lifing and they might even piss you off. But if they're your actual friend, you can get through a lot of stuff. And it's freaking fun hanging out with your friend. So that's what I've learned. Anyone else have thoughts before I read what the guys of Yonci Nation have to say?
I think one of the most valuable lessons that I learned was if it humps, floats, or flies, you should rent it.
If it humps, floats, or flies, you should rent it.
I mean, you're just renting it because at the end of the day, it's really just your turn. If you just look at the longevity of relationships, they're not lasting forever. On average, 10% of relationships last longer than 10 years. So that being said, I'm a math-based guy, so if I'm not ever going to own it, I should probably rent it.
So does that mean not getting married?
It means not prioritizing getting married. For example, if my woman ever wants to get married, I have no problem doing it because I have no problem doing things that my woman wants. However, going to put the state in it, never. My marriage would be a covenant between me, my woman, and God, not me, my woman, in the state of Texas, ever.
So you're saying no legal union?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, to each his own. We got a couple people on Instagram, y'all. This is not where the party is, but this is where you can find out where to get to it. Come on over to YouTube, type in Chasing Yonci, or click the link in my story if it lets you while I'm live. I don't know for sure. But just type in Chasing Yonci and you will see it pop up and you can join all these beautiful people having these incredible conversations. All right, so let me get into some of the answers and then we're going to move on to the second question. Okay. Someone said what they learned is people don't have a type. They have a pattern and habit. Not 100% sure what that means.
That's easy. I think I said that. I think that's mine. You don't have a type, you got a habit. Like if you keep dating the same people, it's not because you have a type, because they're not all the same. Your type typically is going to be the same thing. Your habit is you date people that feel a certain way, make you feel useful in a certain way, make you feel like, oh man, I can fix this person, or oh man, I can fix, I can save that person. And that's your habit. It's a pattern. You have types of like clothing, like food, not people.
Okay. Someone else said the men she has children with are her standard.
That's definitely my statement. That was mine too.
I'm going to push back a little bit. It could have been her standard at that time because, a lot of people grow and develop, and maybe they had poor examples growing up, or, they didn't have self-love. They might have had someone who was speaking down to them and they thought they weren't worth anything. So I would say my standards have definitely gone up. Oh, that sounds mean now that I look about it. So no offense, sir.
As a standards in a person, though, but look at it this way: this is one of those things that I think a lot of women hate because it holds them accountable for their choices. This is obviously not talking to you directly. I'm saying generally that anytime you hold a woman accountable for her choices, like you guys get, again, generally speaking, are offended when we talk about body counts or anything you've done in the past, as if like quantifiable information doesn't matter. Your credit score matters. Your past performance on the job matters. Your criminal record matters. Your past matters. So if a woman has given the most ultimate and high gift that she can give to a man, which is a child, and that man also turns out to, not be able to keep a job down, just not be a guy that other men respect, she's choosing. They may not have been poorly for her at the time, but compared to the guy that she wants to date now.
But why can't she say that my stuff changed? So, for example, for me, I had someone that everybody wanted. He was and is in the top 1%. Just for me, what I realized, what I needed as far as, I'm trying to be specific, what I needed personally from a person was different. So
what you need personally is not what we're judging him off of. We don't care about what the woman needs personally.
Are you talking about just what they're bringing to the table?
Or who that person is, not who they were. We don't care about how he wasn't emotional enough for you, or he wasn't soft. We don't care about that. We care about his standing in the world. That's what men are judged off of.
Oh, well, then I have no regrets because I picked.
So, that's my point. If you've been having babies with bums, don't wait until you're 35, 40 years old to want to have a baby with Ruben, or Greg. Like, your standard is bums, because if you're giving bums children, it shows you like you're happy.
Not populating with buns.
Hey, can we pivot for a moment? Can we pivot for a moment? Because this is something that I just find a bit weird, in my opinion. Since when did women's body count became a topic of discussion? Because me personally, I don't care. And it's like, why is that something that sets a standard? It's like, let's be clear, man. Let's be clear, man. Like, if you had the chance to be with your favorite adult actress, you'd be ready to jump into it. But then you see, any other woman, and you're sitting there asking, "Oh, what's your body count?" Like, first of all, we're adults. Why are we counting? Second, why is that my business?
The same reason it's her business to know if you're a sex offender or if you've ever hit a woman before. Your past matters. That's
two different things.
No, it's not. It's all about her past performance. The same, you said who, since when? The Bible makes your body count matter. That's why the Bible says, hey, be a virgin until you're married. So it's mattered since Jesus and them was getting betrayed by Judas. Like, it's been around for a while. It's not new. The only people
did you wait till marriage
are women who have high body counts, and not you specifically, men who are raised by women with high body counts. So I've never seen the argument pushed.
Did you wait till marriage?
Hell no. I'm a man. Like, what are you talking about? Men and women are the same sexually. We haven't been, we won't ever be. Like, that's a feminist talking point that I will gladly destroy if you want to have that debate ever.
I think to re-ask your question I agree. There's some. It is to some degree weird talking about body count sometimes. Is it a determining factor for some? Some it is, some it isn't. What I think we went through a period. We went through the F-boy period, and then we're in a period where we went through the city girl period, where women were just out doing whatever and whoever. I mean, we've always had that, but it took on a new life for a minute. And when you hear that from a woman who's being loose, it's just not as desirable to many as and I think we're not talking about women who, are married or dated, were in relationships or whatever. I think when we start talking about body count, we're talking about women that have just been like straight up hoes. I'm sorry, is that safe for you too?
I think so.
Who've been promiscuous with their lives and have been passed around. Like one thing, I live in Detroit, and what's interesting about Detroit, it's like Mayberry. It's like a big Mayberry. Everybody knows everybody. Like I can go out with somebody, and all of a sudden, people know the next day. I heard you out with such and such. It's like that. And I have heard about women that have been very promiscuous here. Like, oh man, you need to be careful about her. It matters. It's a determining factor. For some, it is. Some, it isn't. But when you hear of somebody being passed around, you're gonna think twice. I just my two cents.
Okay,
Even when
so
you look at the arguments that people make in support of this, it's like it says, if you had your favorite adult actress, you'd be ready. We're not going to marry her. We're going to fuck her. We're going to have sex with her. We're not going to marry her. We have sex with women with high body counts every day. The Kardashians have been married 30 times apiece, and their body counts are higher than giraffe ass. So I don't think that, like, there's no logical argument that someone can make or comparison to say, well, adult actress, we're not marrying them. If you had a choice to pick between your adult actress that has 9,000 bodies and that same adult actress that had 0 bodies, you're taking the 0. No one wants to screw behind 9,000 men. That woman has had 10 miles of penis. Like, who wants to follow behind that?
I think the question is subjective to the person, though, to who you're asking it to. Because
every question is. We're not saying that.
Right. But if there's a man, like I think Yonci said it, you're as loyal as your options. So if there's a man who perceives he doesn't have a lot of options, he's probably going to take that chick that got a high body count. He might settle for that.
Yeah.
He might, you know what I mean? So I don't think
that's how they get married.
It's an end all. I don't think it's an end all be all as far as dating. Like a body count, depending on where you are in your life, it may or may not matter.
Lesser men have to take women that have high body counts. You're 1,000,000,000% correct. That's the best they can do. You don't, because it's not the best you can do. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, so of course.
But I also don't investigate the question either. Like, I don't. That's not something that I ever bring up.
I don't think that anybody should ask. That's a dumb question to ask. I'm team Greg on that. Don't ask what your body count is. But if I find out that you used to get trains around you in college, your body count is high. Default.
Well, that's where you said it. You said it right, Willie. Like that's where pattern and behavior comes in. Like she gonna tell you.
Sorry, it's confusing with your rhetoric right here, because you're saying if you find out, like, and how would you find out? Like what? Like 2 years into dating a girl, and next thing you know, you're out having dinner with the friends, and she goes, "Oh, remember that one time? I got drunk and stupid in college." So now you're going to judge her on past discrepancies.
That brings up.
Because she was selling coochie in high school and getting trained around in college. She's getting judged. I don't give a damn if I find out about it 20 minutes after it happened, or 20 years. It's over.
That brings
20
up
years. Wow. So you could be with someone for 20 years, but if you find out they had a whole period, you're judging them on that?
Yes, the same way I would judge you. We could be best friends for 20 years, and I found out you gave a dude some head, I'm judging you. What are you talking about? There's no statute of limitations on being a hoe. Like, and then two, a woman tells the world that this is the best a man can do. Lord forbid you get with a woman and you bring her to a party that me, Greg, and Ruben is in, and we ran a train on her. You're going to feel crazy because we're going to have to tell you. And now you got to know you spent 10 years with a girl that 3 of your homeboys ran a train on.
These trains, my goodness.
But I think there's also, as you mature and you experience people, you should develop the ability to have some sort of discernment on, who's in front of you.
Facts.
Like you should be able to judge, what's just by behavior, by conversation, by demeanor, by the respect they have for themselves. Like you should be able to pick up on a lot of stuff before you even, get to the question of how many people you slept with.
Bro, I'm from Dallas. I can smell a whole mile away, dog. So it's not like this is not hard. It's you have to behaviors, and they behave a certain way. Not trying to be funny, but I ask all 3 of y'all. Name the most wholesome woman you know, right? Which is probably gonna be your mom, right? Your mom has girlfriends. I guarantee you can think of one of your mom's girlfriends that you think might have been giving Pastor and Jenkins some ass on Sundays for a fish plate. Like you all have that. You can think of one person. And
hey, Ray,
you probably
Ray, I got a question, Ray.
Yes, sir.
How many times you've asked that question and you believe the answer?
I've never asked that question because it's none of my damn business.
Woo!
Well, you just asked the questions. That's why I'm asking.
No, well, I just asked, like, when did that become a thing to ask?
In the
Like, that
Bible,
was me. Like, I asked, why did it become a thing? Like, oh, what's your body count? Like,
For me, my opinion, it became a thing because women started championing it. Like it was, I'm talking about the city girl season. It was like I'm getting flued out and bust down. Like nobody was talking about it, and women started championing it.
dudes was worried about girls being hoes back in New Jack City. That's like the 90s. That's what Nino Brown and his brother fell out behind. A woman.
I mean, you always had it, but I'm talking about every podcast was talking about body counts all of a sudden. Like, and it was.
Well, the podcast talk about it, Jay, because it's a popular talking point, and it's something that gets people engaged in. And then you have two sides. You have the girls who have high body counts, the guys that don't. You have the dudes who will deal with girls with high body counts because they have to, and then the guys that won't. Like, so you have so many different niches of people. It's a topic. It's a talking point that everybody can contribute to.
By the way, guys, Lainey, this is her first time on watching the show, so give her a special shout out. Good to have you. She said it's her first episode, but definitely not my last. I love the topics. Good. You will see very quickly we are like a little family, a little dysfunctional family probably.
But we got to be dysfunctional.
I think that at least, well, I can speak for myself and you. I mean, shit, and I guess Jacob, but you're saying Greg and Ray knew, so I can't go on a limb yet. It's at least 3 high functional motherfuckers over here. At least 3. At least
no,
3.
This could be the family where, you know, Yonci is everyone's favorite cousin. Ruben is the drunk uncle that's going to pass out on the couch. Willie is the one that always got and Greg always brings a new girlfriend over every Thanksgiving.
Where did you see he has a new girlfriend? Is that what you're going to say?
He got the new girlfriend.
Once I find out your body count is high,
it's a different girl at every function.
I just got I got to be the drunk uncle. Like,
you
got to taste the libations. I don't know. You got socks on at the grill? I mean,
Kenny made a good point. Not caring about body count is about half of 1 in 3 people has herpes because they don't care about body count.
Oh,
so, and I guarantee you, of the 3 people on this panel, the 1 in 3 on this panel.
You know, I want to meet the girl that screwed you up, man, because you speak some issues, man.
Nobody screwed me up. Like that's
hold on. Before the record, time out for a second.
Wait, ain't no time out there. You can't say
I am a living kidney donor, and I get blood tested regularly because of that, and so I do not have any sexually transmitted disease. They test my blood on the regular.
He got his papers, y'all.
I got papers.
Clean bill of health.
Man say he can't.
I'm not one of the 1 in 3.
I asked someone asked me like, how soon can you ask a guy for his papers? And I was like, man, but I feel like if a guy's trying to hook up with you, it's
on my chart on my phone. I can show him immediately.
Hey, listen,
look.
Coming back outside in these streets, I was like, they're like, it's an app for that now. I'm like, I don't trust no fucking app because apps can be manipulated. Not trying to be funny.
Oh, that's true.
But you know what I do for a living, so it's not like you can make anything say anything at this point. So no.
And I get the printout. I can bring that. So
listen,
I think I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna add that to my queue of questions.
If you don't go with them, it don't count. If you don't go with them, it don't count.
All my time, throughout my times when I was dating, I think I've only had one woman ask me for papers, you know, just to make sure clean. And I wasn't offended behind it because I was like, okay, like if it's that serious, I was like, okay, fair enough. I'm like, you know, you can find a spot, get it done for, I think it was like $50 or something like that. It's like, you know, I know. So
that goes back to character and pattern.
It also goes back to just being responsible as a man, because if only one woman asks you, what did you do with the other women? Did you ask them? Or why did you not think that? Why did they not ask you? Because if a woman doesn't ask you, she's probably outside with a high body count.
Or she doesn't have a high body count, therefore she doesn't think she has something.
Wait, whoa. I'm not trying to be funny here, but I've never in my life come across a woman who had a high body count, a low body count, that didn't care about and make that an issue. Like, hey, you get tested. When's the last time you were tested? They ask those questions. The girls that don't,
really, real question though. How do you know if a woman has a high body count or low? Like, are these questions that you're asking, or is
this? Yeah, no. First of all, I'm never gonna ask a woman if she has a high body count or not. That's dumb.
Okay.
But you can tell by the things she believes in. Like, you can just tell, like when you talk to her. Like it's asking, like, how are you in college? That's a huge tell. If she's like, she gets mad at men. If a woman gets mad at you for shaming women for having high body counts, odds are she has one. Like, it's just certain things. There's no foolproof guarantee, but you can make an educated guess based on just getting to know someone. And as you get to know her, like, okay, cool. She's probably, so a vagina or two back in her day. That's probably not someone that I want to marry. But that doesn't disqualify you from having fun with her, especially when you're young enough to do so.
So,
but
yeah,
I'm going to be like, hey, Greg, how many
if a man asks you that question, would you be offended or would you give him an honest answer?
If he asked my body count?
Yes. Would you be offended or would you give him an honest answer?
I would be turned off.
I believe you.
I just think that's a super tacky thing that nobody should. No one should talk about. I wouldn't even ask a guy his body count, and it's socially acceptable.
It's not the same if you did, though.
I know, that's what I said, and it's not even it's socially acceptable for a guy to have a lot. I wouldn't ask that because I just feel like it's just.
I think age plays a big part of that. Like if I'm talking to somebody that's in their 30s, I'm going to expect that, she's going to have, a few sex partners in her day. I don't expect her to have.
They sleep with 1.4 men a year, bro. That's the average.
Say that again?
From the time they start having sex, the average for a woman is 1.4 men a year. So
y'all, they said we have only 8 likes. I feel like we should have a protest, like a 30-second protest. Oh my goodness. Walk on.
Wait, no, my bad. I didn't like it, so I can't even be mad. Let me go.
Oh, I didn't either. But if you don't know how to hit the like button, it's probably because you're on your cell phone and your cell phone has the chat box open. If the chat box is open, you have to close it, hit that like, and then you can go click comment and the chat box will open again.
They probably got a Boost mobile phone if they can't see the likes.
She said you don't have to have a high body count to get an STD. Ain't that the
truth?
No
one said we did. 2 + 3 is 6. Thank you for making a comment that had nothing to do with nothing.
Easy. Pull that leash.
You don't have to have a high body count to get an STD.
Oh, she's so sweet. She said, does it count if you like it more than once? I don't think so. But thank you.
The views count though if you open it on more than one device, because I usually put it on all my TVs.
Okay.
Hold on. What am I acting like, Kenny? I want to know.
I know what he's about to say.
Okay. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So I want to read some of these because I like some of these. Okay, what's the most important lesson you've learned from past relationships? He said, if you truly don't love yourself, you can't love anybody. Confident you is the most unstoppable you. The things that don't matter will shock you once you achieve a space of self-love. I could not agree more. Someone else said, don't date single mothers seriously. You will never be in the correct place in the hierarchy as a man while being with a woman with someone else's child. And again, you're going to say, well, you're Yonci, you're you, but that's not the case.
I agree with that. Even though I don't date women who don't have children, I agree with it. I know what's up. I understand how that goes.
People only do things when they're ready to. All I can do is encourage and provide incentives. That's a fact. I like that. If I feel like chopped liver when dealing with her in any way, shape, or form, just leave. She's either selfish or has little to no interest in you. Okay, come through answers. If you want to read all the answers that the men share, you can get them fresh in your inbox every single day, Monday through Friday, just by joining on Patreon. And that's patreon.com/Yonci, which can be found in the comments. Anyone else have any juicy wisdom or things to share, get off your chest before we move on to question number 2? Now or forever hold your peace. Okay. That sounds like 83 words a minute. All right. The next question is, for those of you who are not married but want to be, what are you most looking forward to when that time comes? I like that we got a decent amount of answers on this one because I don't know if the guys would answer. Sometimes y'all be giving me crickets and other times you be coming through. So I'll start out with the guys and then you guys can add yours. Okay. The tax breaks. Real emotional, physical, mental, sexual, and spiritual companionship. Okay, deep answer. Companionship, memories, and someone to help take pressure off of daily tasks. People always say I need to relax or rest since I'm recovering from an arm injury, but I don't have that luxury. Work, daily chores, errands, etc. have to still be taken care of, and there's no one to help or offer relief, even if it's grocery shopping or making dinner one night. Not asking for much, but a little help would go a long way.
What are his girlfriends doing?
Not all girlfriends are willing to be live in and do wifey.
That's also why they don't get married. But I understand, no problem. That's not what I was talking about, though.
Knowing someone else was in love with me as I was with her, starting a family with someone I can absolutely trust in, the comfort of knowing she cannot testify against me in the court of law.
That's a scammer.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Blockchain Beeman. He put $10 on the books. Thank you so much.
That's a love offer. Don't count that. That's a love offer.
Y'all blink 2 times if you're okay, Willie.
No, I want to be a male feminist tonight. I'm gonna switch.
Thank you. Thank you for the love offering. We got 15 out of 25. Is that like 15 likes out of
15 viewing and 25 likes probably.
Ew, come on, y'all. The likes are free. You just gotta use that thumb or that forefinger. Anyone else? Oh, hey, Falake, good to see you, darling.
What's up, Dark Clouds? This is a great conversation you be on, because you're definitely in the minority here. She's the GOAT.
15 likes. Wow. 15 or 5 of y'all just holding out, huh? Just holding out. Okay. So what are you? Well, you're married, Ray, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yes.
So you can't answer this because you're already there. Willie, I'm not even asking you that.
I can answer that question easily.
You already stated your case about marriage. You don't want to get married.
No, man, I've told you. I still look forward to a marriage. Like, do you know how dope it is to ruin it for all of her friends' husbands? Like, damn. Like what Monte did with your left hand. Like, or the wedding itself. Like, I look forward to having everybody in her family looking at their husbands like,
terrible.
This was the best you could do. Like, I'm competitive like that. So
at least you own it.
Yeah. I enjoy the fact that, like, I want to set the bar high. Like, when we go out, as couples, I pull chairs out. Most other dudes don't. You've seen it. So, like, yeah, it's one of those things that I kind of enjoy.
Well, Mr. Greg, what are you looking for? I'm assuming you would like to get married one day, or I shouldn't assume.
I'm assuming, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to.
Okay. What do you think would be great about being married?
It's funny. I was actually just listening to something recently, and the gentleman was mentioning about the woman being a helpmate. So I would say whatever mission or plan or goal that I have in place, for my life, having a woman to be a part of that is probably that's probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to.
Nice. I like that. As someone, who has been married, I've experienced it, and someone who is on my way to the nuptials again, I think there's something pretty awesome about the permanence of marriage. Obviously, you can get a divorce, but you have to be extremely determined to do so. It's not like you could just call and break up and be like, we're not together anymore. You have to really want to split from that person, and it becomes very expensive for usually all parties involved. So it's not as easy to get out of. So it's pretty permanent in that sense. I like that there's a lot more respect put on it. When you're Mrs. someone, it's like people tend to take the relationship more seriously. Like, some people will say, oh yeah, I cheat if they're just in a relationship, but if they're married, I respect that. Like, the world still values marital vows as a whole, more than just the title of girlfriend or boyfriend. And I like the idea of someone who is with me up against the world, like, even if it's like financially. Let's say if I'm by myself, all the finances fall on me, versus if I have a partner, they might have good months or better months, or, they might have some unexpected expenses, and now you have someone. It's like having a friend that's always there with you. I watched the Jamie Foxx special, which, wow, we were not expecting it to be what it was. So I won't go into detail to not ruin it for anyone else. However, what I will say is what he went through caused him to realize, like, whoa, who's in my corner? And, that type of thing is really important. I know for me, if I love someone, you know, if they need physical help, there's no line that I won't cross as far as like being there for that person and looking out for them, you know, not just being fair weather. And so I think that there's a beautiful comfort to that. So feel free to answer in the comments too. What are you looking forward to in marriage? Okay.
So let me say this, Yonci, as apparently the only married person here on this panel. The only
Represent.
advice, the only advice that I really give to like any single people is have a honest to God conversation with yourself about what you actually want and write it down, which is most important because you could say it, but when you write it down, you could constantly go back, look at it, you know, go to your iPhone, put it in your notes of like, this is what I want. And I'm not talking about just list physical features or age group, like actually say to yourself, this is what I want and this is what I need. Then when you finally start building that out, then you start to know, all right, this is what I'm looking for. So for myself, I would say this. In my dating phase, I was typically looking for women, you know, within a 2 year age gap of my own age because I just felt like at that time women weren't looking to date to be married. You know, they still having fun out in the clubs, you know, traveling, you know, doing whatever. But one day, you know, I'm just sitting there like, you know, I met my wife off of Tinder, by the way. You know, I just said, you know what, let me play with this idea. And I just expanded that age gap to like 8 years. So my wife is 6 years my junior.
Mm.
And we covered that on the first date. Where on the first date, she straight up was like, look, I'm dating to be married. So if that's not your thing, you know, shake hands and walk away. And I said, no, me too. She was like, okay, let's continue. That was 9 years ago now.
That's good. And I definitely think that sorry, I'm reading and talking at the same time. I definitely think that marriage especially challenges you to grow because you know that you're locked in, you're forced to um you know, work things out. And so I think that within reason, like some people are just diabolical and narcissistic or whatever, but for the most part, you have people who are not manipulative and gaslighting. They're actually speaking the truth and they're able to see the areas that you can grow. And so I always like to say relationships are like mirrors. And so if you're not prepared to look in the mirror, don't get married because they will show you who you are. Same thing with a healthy family dynamic. You're in a healthy family, your parents are going to call you out. Your siblings are going to call you out. That auntie that loves you is going to be like, look, you're wasting your money or you're dealing with too many women or you need to settle down. Whatever. People who love you are going to lovingly call you out. And so I think that's a beautiful part of relationships that can help you to level up if you, you know, are open to feedback. And that's one of the things that I love the most about my guy is that he's still a human. He still has, you know, the natural desire to want to be defensive, but at the end of the day, he listens. And I've worked really, really hard to overcome my defensiveness that I had so badly in my first marriage. And now just look at it as, hey, my partner is giving me the cheat code on how to love them better. Because if I didn't know this, then I would keep messing up and eventually they're going to be resentful. So if I can at least grasp it, do my best to make the changes, he's going to stay happy. And if he stays happy, I'm going to be happy. So it all works out.
Yeah, right. I want to say that was you know, dope for sharing that. One of the things that I noticed what you said that stood out to me was how intentional she was initially in the beginning.
Mhm.
I think that and being authentic, those are the two things that I noticed in today's times as far as, you know, dating, being single, that's missing. Like a lot of people aren't intentional as far as when they're dating, and then a lot of people necessarily don't have a sense of purpose to why they're dating a particular person. I don't want to ever put myself in a position where I'm just dating to fill a void, or I'm loving somebody to feel, you know, a certain comfort that I'm probably missing. So the fact that she actually said that and came to is um, mature for sure. Like a lot of people aren't willing to come to you and say, "Hey, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking to do."
Thank you for that. And just for the record, she was 26 at the time. Yeah. And this was a woman who knew what she wanted. And I would say that, you know, a lot of people, men and women, they probably just don't even know what they want. Maybe they just want to hang out with someone because they look good, we have a good time, and maybe sex was accessible. But as far as like the long term, like not everyone goes into a relationship thinking like, oh my god, this might be the one. It's like, no, they might just be cool. It's like I could say this for myself. Back when I was dating, mentally, anytime I met a woman, I put her in three categories. Like, we could hook up, but I'm not going to date you. Or we could date, but I don't see myself marrying you. And then there was, when I met my wife, I was like, yep. Like, I knew it from day one. I was just like, yep. It was like number of things that just put up like green flag, green flag. I was like, without even having to say anything. So when we, went to a bar, we were sitting there just conversing. When she straight up asked me that question, I was just like, I like where your head's at. It's like, and and I feel like in a lot of times, like people don't have that conversation. I have no idea why they don't. If it's something that you want to do, you may just date someone because, like I say, you're just cool with them like that. Like, hey, or oh, she a baddie. I just want to go hang out with her, and then you want to go to places where you're seen with her or anything like that. But if that's your intent, put it on the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like I was conflicted with that question at one point because at the time I was dating more casually, not really dating with like a real intention. So when a woman would say, oh, are you looking to get married? And if not, like I didn't have an answer. Like I couldn't say yes or no. I didn't have enough information, especially about her, to even make that determination, because I think that's a decision that you have to make based off the individual. Like a man could be like I've seen men who weren't thinking about being married, wasn't on their mind, and then they meet a chick, and time goes on, and then next thing you know, I'll find out they engage. You know what I mean? Like it just life just starts to
I hear
happen.
about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I think that question could be a little aggressive in the beginning. I think having a more softer approach especially like when you're just meeting somebody, as opposed to like, I'd rather the question like, are you open to dating, as opposed to, are you ready to get married? Like, is that,
Not ready to get married.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, is that like, that's just, to me, I just think that's just like a bit much for some.
You call it aggressive, and I just find that interesting because I feel like every day you make a commitment to something. Every day. So, for example, with the job that you got, right? You walked into that job, you walked into that interview, and you negotiated and said, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is how much money I want to make. So you made a commitment with them to say, okay, whether they gave you what you wanted or you just accepted what they offered, but you took it. That was a commitment. When you buy a house or when you buy a car, you buy a house, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to commit to buying this house for 30 years. When you buy a car, I'm going to commit to paying for this for the next 5 years. So if you're going to meet someone and date them, you want to know some idea of like, how much am I going to commit to this person? So this ain't marriage, okay, you're on a path. But if you're just doing it just because it's just to do it, then I was to be upfront and honest about that, because I was wondering if I want to get younger.
Prior to me making any type of commitment, I'm gonna do my research first. So, like for an example, like as far as making a purchase, I'll give you a perfect example. I was looking at a new MacBook the other day. Before I went into the store, I already purchased it in my mind. Like I knew which one I wanted. I knew exactly the how much money I was going to spend. Like in my mind, I already made the purchase. So when I went to the store, I was already committed because I did my research. I already knew, like the dude couldn't tell me anything about the MacBook that I didn't already know. I did my research. So at that point, that's what I mean when I say like, I need that phase where I need to be able to investigate before I
Can I ask? Can I ask you a quick question, Greg? Because I hear this a lot, and I ask people when someone says, "Are you ready to be married?" Do you hear, "Are you ready to be married" when you meet the right person, or do you hear, "Are you ready to be married to me"? If someone just says, "Are you ready to be married?" which do you hear?
I think I would say 70% of the time it's from the individual because I'm receiving it from that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in my mind, I'm assuming she means her. Like I wouldn't necessarily
Okay.
say,
And I think that's where the disconnect is because
Mhm.
people who are in that season of I'm ready to get married, like when people say, I don't want a relationship, I say the with you is silent. And it's funny, I
Yeah.
saw someone else say that. I'm like, oh, I think it's taking off. But when someone says, do you want to get married? That would be preposterous to ask a person out the gate if they wanted to marry her because they don't know her. And a guy who says, yeah, I want to marry you off of just thinking you're pretty, that's kind of a red flag. But to say, are you in a place of wanting to be married? Then that means that once you meet your person, there's nothing holding you back.
But that's where the gray area comes in because I could be like I could be open to it. Like if I see something that stood out to me that I didn't necessarily see in somebody else, my mind could change. Like that question could be completely irrelevant
But
6
if
months.
you said your mind could change, I don't think it's about changing your mind. I think you're either open to marriage or you're not open to marriage. You would be open when you meet that person. But if you never met that person, you're still open to marriage. You just haven't gotten married yet. You haven't met that person. I don't think that you're changing your mind on marriage,
I see what you're saying.
But I think this is a helpful conversation because so many guys hear it that way. And I don't think it's like the fault of the guy, and I don't think it's the fault of the girl. I think what's important to notice is that there's a disconnect in the question so that ladies can understand if I ask this question, the guy might hear it as, do you want to marry me? And then if the guy is hearing that question, he might.
But also to my point, though, I think the timing of that question is important too.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to be asked that question on the first date.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, what's it called? Sorry, I was reading something that popped up. I wouldn't have a problem. Well, I guess for me, mostly I met people online. So if I met someone online, those questions were already asked. And I think that on dating apps, you're already kind of preconditioned to just get certain things out of the way because everyone's using the filters, versus like if I just met you in a grocery store, I think that would be a little bit weird to be like, hey, are you interested in marriage? But if I was having serious conversations, those were the things that I wanted to kind of get out of the way. Like, do you believe in God? Are you open to marriage? And do you want more kids?
Remember in the beginning, the last session we had, the last conversation, we talked about viewing people as a human being. So you asking me that question, I feel like you're automatically trying to categorize me as a partner or not a partner. Like you're automatically trying to put me in a box without even really getting a chance to know me. I feel.
How so?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I disagree. Like they're not saying. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Go ahead.
Yeah, like because most times, depending on my answer, you're either gonna disqualify me, and you're gonna say, okay, I'm no longer interested in talking to this person because they're not interested in marriage. When possibly down the line, I could be open to it, depending on how this situation go. It's not completely off the table, but just at this particular moment, no, I'm not interested in getting married to somebody. So I feel like it's premature to put me in the box of disqualification because of the question that could potentially change later on.
So if you say, for example, I don't want any children naturally.
Mhm.
Like if they're stepkids, okay, that's great, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to have any more. I don't want to go through all that.
Mm-hmm.
If I meet you and you're like, oh, I can't wait to have kids of my own, I want to get married one day, I am going to judge you off of that. Not judge you and say you're a bad person. I'm going to say you're not a good match for me. So
if I didn't want to have kids,
if you say it for me, if you said you did want to have kids, you wouldn't be a match for me. But if you were to go back when I was single before I got married, then you saying you didn't want to have kids would have been a deal breaker for me. Or even saying I already have kids would have been a deal breaker because I wanted someone who had a first kid together. So I don't think there's anything wrong with out the gate eliminating the deal breakers for a person. Now if you're talking about things like being a vegetarian or whatever, like I tell the girls, there's certain things that maybe be a little bit flexible on, because you never know, you might be okay with it. Like some people say, I would never deal with someone who has more than one baby daddy or baby mama. But you might find somebody who, let's say the first person passed away, or they have a really great relationship, or the first kid, the mom is the kid's much older. Like there are certain things that maybe there's a little wiggle room, but certain things like wanting marriage and wanting kids, you're not getting around that.
Let me ask this, fellas. Have you ever met a woman that you really liked? I'm talking about you met her really liked. You start asking questions quick. I'm asking. I've been in that situation where I'm like, oh my gosh, she fine as hell. Like, look, hey, you want to have kids? Do you want to buy a house on the moon? Like, I wanted to know because I was really digging her. And I'm just asking, have you been in that situation? I'm not talking about a random chick, but I'm talking about a girl that you met.
No, I understand the question. And I would say this. There's a huge difference from getting to know someone to just flat out interrogating them. You don't want to come off as like so hostile where it's just like
you got a checkboard in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, like hold a conversation with them, like, hey, have you ever thought about being married at some point? I didn't say today, next year, but just being married. I didn't say me, just being married. Or if you have kids, do you want kids? How many kids? Like I have friends of mine that I could tell you straight up, like they can meet a very good looking, very successful person. But if they find out that they were Republican, they're just like deal breaker. Nope. It could be something like some people say that's petty. And I'm like, no, that's their reason. That's their logic, Like I got some Republican friends that just would never even think to touch a Democrat. Or let's say, for other black people, they would say, no, I'll never date outside of my race. And I'm just like, teachers their own. I'm like, I look at the person. Like, I'm not going to sit there and value or judge someone off that.
That's kind of what I'm saying. And I get like, for some women and even men, the idea of marriage or not marriage can be a deal breaker for some people. But I feel like in the beginning, like in a very early stage, like I just feel like that just should be a question that just shouldn't come up very early.
I see. Okay.
I guess what I'm getting, and you've answered the question, is it sort of depends on how you guys met and how you're getting to know each other. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's not a one size fits all. Mm-hmm. I do think you guys were talking about relationships earlier. I do think people have lost the art of dating. Like you're supposed to be meeting people, getting to know yourself, getting to know them.
Right.
Stick to that course. Things can sort of work itself out. What dating has turned into now is an interrogation.
Right, like an elimination process.
I don't like your shoes. You done out partners. Like rather than taking the time to get to know somebody, and you should be doing some of that even before you go on the first date. Like you should talk a little bit before you even get to a date, so you're not wasting your time and your resources. So I think what advice I would give people, and I give to my family, is get to know yourself. It'll help in the process. Get to know what you like and don't like. You talk about people don't know what they want. People don't know themselves well enough to date somebody. You don't even know what you like. You like, maybe, somebody with big boobs or something like that. I'm not talking about that, but do you know how you want to be treated? Do you know how you like to feel? Do you know how you like to be communicated to? The only way to do that is through the process. And that was some advice I got. And I hated the advice at the time. I just wanted to pay somebody and them go find me what I wanted. Like, give you some money, just here's a list, figure it out, and bring it to me next week, and we'll go from there. And it was like, no, you need to go through the process. And it was some of the best advice I got. You start to figure out what you want, and you can discern quicker at that point. Now you start meeting people, and if you're honestly like, hey, this ain't for me, or I don't like the way you move. Not to say it's bad, it's just not for you, and you can discern and move on quicker.
Most people don't understand the difference between questioning and interrogating.
Yeah.
And I think it's oftentimes women do it up front. Men do it when they're angry. So women do it when they want to get information. Men do it when they want some sort of like absolution or resolution, because it's the purpose of questioning, it's the method, it's the tone and setting, it's the power dynamic. And a lot of women use the interrogation style power dynamic when they try to talk to men because as one of the ladies says, because women don't want to waste their time, so they try to disqualify you in order to protect yourself, protect them from doing that. And what I see happen is that women don't ask questions to build a connection. It's simply it's selfish. It's because they want to protect their time, and that goes along with the majority of women think that their time is more valuable than men's. That's why the women expect you to spend money to get to know them. That's why, like, when these older women are dating, like, they're more in a rush than men are because they have less time. And
I'm gonna make a connection with what Ruben said about people has lost the art of dating, and the connection of it feeling like an interrogation. I feel like a lot of people have been hurt, traumatized, heartbroken. Like they want to hurry up and get through the elimination to avoid any type of trauma or any type of heartbreak that they might develop by catching feelings for a person. Because back in the day, you would like sit up on the phone, you would talk for hours. Like it would be a whole thing leading up to actually dating somebody. Like now it's like I said, it's kind of like this pop the balloon mentality where it's like you either qualified or you're not qualified to date me, and it happens so suddenly that you don't even get a chance to get to know the person or the individual as a human being, like as an individual.
So here's what I want to say in that aspect. Number one, I absolutely blame the internet, reality shows, as far as the dating pool goes. Now, as a man with teenage daughters, I ask them all the time, like, what's a boyfriend? Like, what's a date? So I want to ask that question out to everyone here. What's a date? Like, what qualifies to say we're going on a date or we're dating?
I think it's intentional. I think the man has.
What's a date?
Say it again.
What's a date?
It's intentional. I think it's how the man is leading the situation. So if I'm making plans to out of my day and and to spend time or to go out on dinner or to the movies, and I'm letting you know that I'm interested in you, that's a date.
Okay.
If we having this conversation and we are it's getting sexual on the phone, and we link up, that's a link up. Like we linking up, like we are, because the conversation is had way before ahead of the time.
Like for me, to answer your question, dating is you're exploring, the intention with somebody to some degree. You see them as a partner, and you want to explore that a little bit more. Where you see them as something more than just somebody you just met, and there's some intention, and that's really the difference. But I mean, the intention could be a link up. The intention could be a lot of things. But I think when we're talking about seeking a partner, that's what dating is. And what dating isn't is just going somewhere, sitting down and talking. Like I think a lot of people are just socializing; they're not dating. And what I mean by that is you're just hanging out together. Like there's got to be some intention at some point in the process for it to be, it's in my opinion, for it to be a date. Like other than that, you're just hanging out.
I think that we have gotten to this place where we're so ego driven. Like I think about back in the day with the famous scene with the guy with the boombox over his head. You have to have like very low ego, like in a healthy way. You cannot be a prideful person and be in a relationship because pride and vulnerability don't go hand in hand. So there is a level of vulnerability that comes out the gate to say, hey, Ruben, I'm feeling you. Like if the roles were reversed and I was saying, the guy taking the lead and, it was the other way around. For me to say, I find you really attractive. Like I love talking to you. I have a good time. I would like to see if we have something here. That takes a level of vulnerability, but it makes it clear. And I think that's what people are telling themselves. I'm going to protect myself by keeping it vague and talk about, hey, let's link. Hey, let's hook up. Let's hang out. And what it does is it gives them deniability, I believe. I'm speculating, but that's what I'm speculating. It gives deniability because if the person says, oh, I'm not really feeling like that. I was just saying we're going to hang out. My God. Like it makes you not have to be committal versus if you're like, I'm feeling you, like it seems like you're feeling me, and then the other person could say, I would love to have it, and they literally would say it's a date, and then they'd plan it. So this whole thing, I see that as one of the big issues. You know, we were talking with Cam. He was like, I'm not quite sure what the date. I'm like, that it should be super clear. It's never not been clear when I was going on a date that I was going on a date.
Absolutely.
The other thing is that with the women wanting to not get their time wasted, what I teach all the time is that, okay, maybe you've achieved your goal. Like, let's say the person meets Greg and she's like, I need to know that he wants kids, he loves God, and he's open to marriage. Okay, so I'm making sure I'm getting my questions answered. Well, he might pass the test as far as your vetting, but now he's not interested in a second date because you came with a clipboard with clipboard energy, and he didn't feel like there was anything about him personally that you were digging or, you know, giving any choosing signals. So it's that balance. I don't think it's wrong to want to get your questions answered sooner rather than later. But at the same time, there's a lot to be said for building a rapport with someone and getting a feel for them. And so in my course, I require the women to send me screenshots. You know, I don't take people's word for it. Oh, I did this and that. Now I'm going to see it, especially because if it's written, I'm going to hear it probably in the tone that someone else is going to read it, because I don't want to know what your intention was. I just want to see what you wrote. And what a lot of women don't realize is they are cold. They sound very, very cold. And they make the assumption that the guy is just going to go 100 miles per hour in their direction, no matter what they do. And that's not the case. Guys have a healthy amount of ego. They're going to want to make sure that they are not, you know, barking up the wrong tree. And so, and I think they'd be a creep if they just moved full steam ahead and didn't any indication that she was.
Can I give the best analogy? So I'm in auto sales. I recently just got promoted to manager, but starting in thank you. Starting on auto sales, the question is just like a customer coming in, and I ask the customer, "Are you ready to buy right now?" As soon as, like, without even saying, like, you know, no presentation, nothing like that. That's, to me, that's how it feels like when a woman asks me if I'm ready to get married. From day one. It's like I might be interested in the idea of it, but the fact that you hit me with that right away was complete turn off to me.
But you said you need to clip that last piece that you did, Yonci, and use it in class. Use the word rapport. So I work in community engagement, and when you build rapport, it just opens up the door. I was in a meeting today. A year ago, this relationship was tough with this organization, but today she pulled me aside. She said, "Off the record, let me tell you some, like, because we have rapport now, there's a certain level of respect, and she's opening up she's telling me things that are going on in the organization that will help and benefit me."
Right.
And I guess I want to just emphasize that term you use, build some rapport. And if you don't have it, then maybe it's not somebody you really want to spend time with. But taking the time to build the rapport is critically important. And I agree. I think some women don't. It's like I said, I've been out on too many dates lately where it feels like a corporate meeting. And I hate it. And again, I'm friends with, I think I've told the story before with friends, and I told her that. She's like, "Jake, what happened? Why did we work out?" And I told her it felt like going to a meeting. And she was so cold, her executive coach told her the same thing. Like, you're going to die alone in this highly successful job. And
she's talking about, "I'm going to pencil you in. I'll ping you later."
Her executive coach told her the next guy asked you, "Just go. Like, you're so wound so tight. This is terrible." And I meet a lot of highly successful women like that. It's all about their job and they don't know how to turn it off.
No, I have been finding, so I'm a year in as of this month. I'm a year into the Dating Manual, which is my 8-week coaching program. And what I'm finding more and more is that the person who's drawn to the program typically is a career woman who's very successful in her career. And there is such a disconnect between being successful in the workplace and being successful in relationships. And even when I ask them, when I do like the intake and ask, you know, "Who are you? Tell me about yourself." The first couple of things, if not all of them, are all job descriptions. Like, What would make you a phenomenal partner? It's not because you're the CEO of, or you are very organized, or you are like, these are not the things. So I think that there's something to be said for people who don't have that experience dating. And a lot of it's because, again, starting from a mom saying, I had someone leave me and I was high and dry, so you better make sure you're never dependent on a man. And now it's come, now we're in the second generation of this, where these women are spending the majority of their time and their focus on their career. Like, love can come later. I'm going to focus on my career. I'm going to get where I need to go. I need to focus on school. And okay, now I'm ready to love. And they are bombing at it because they don't know the basics of building that rapport. So if I'm describing you, you are not alone. Don't feel bad. There is hope for you. People can learn. Yeah.
I do understand the question, but I just think, like you said, balance is important. There should be definitely a mix of fun and value me as a human being before you try to categorize me as a potential husband or mate.
Yeah. I can't wait to have that conversation, because I'm trying not to have it tonight. I'm going to go in the order of the queue, but what you guys were expressing about the lack of a desire to go to a singles event was very eye-opening, and it made a lot more sense from a male psychology perspective. And so, I can't wait for that. So I hope you guys are all on the panel, because you guys are all really good at articulating your thoughts. Are you guys enjoying the show? If you are, feel free to drop a love offering, aka a super chat, or if you really want to be dope, you can send Zelle and extend the show. All right, we're gonna go to question number 3. This question says, if a woman was wearing a diamond ring on her right hand, this was a submitted question, would it keep you from approaching her? And from the comments, it looks like somebody said a lot of people didn't catch that. So what do you think? What do you think that people said? This was a very, very, well, I was going to say, do you think people would be split, or do you think they would be one extreme or the other on yeses or no? Would it keep you from approaching?
I think.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think I would like to think that most men are respectful to the idea of marriage.
It's on her right hand.
Oh, it's not on the marriage.
That's why everybody said yes, because nobody paid attention to the question.
Right. Yeah,
I think it skewed the data for sure.
I'm one of those people.
Oh, Janice did a love offering. Thank you, Janice. I appreciate it. Oh, It literally says extension. So here's my dilemma. YouTube takes like over 30% of it. So it's hard to figure out how many minutes it's really buying, which is why
10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's the tax of using YouTube. You got to tell people to send you Cash App and Zelles.
I just did it. So I'm thinking about just having it be love offerings come in through YouTube, since they tax the hell out of it. And then if you want to extend the show on YouTube, Zelle or Cash App, let me put my info on here just in case. There we go. Put my Zelle up there. But thank you, Janice. I'm still grateful. I appreciate the extension. Oh, thank you for commenting that, because I sure did not see you. There's 2 rows and I sure did not see you, Mont. Okay.
Oh, shit. What's up, Mont? As a matter of fact, I'm a super chat because Mont joined. God damn. Jesus. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so here are the poll results. And I think it's skewed, like I said. So 48% said that would keep them away. 52% said no, it would not. So let's get into these comments, and then it'll definitely show.
What's the question?
If a woman was wearing a diamond ring on her right hand, her non-marriage hand. Okay. So someone said, no, I'm not approaching. I'm assuming she's not over that relationship, or she just switched the ring to her other side to get noticed that night. Women love their rings. If I see one, I know she has some type of relationship going on. Someone else says, no, that's just an accessory. The left hand, though, is going to make me think twice unless the ring is small. Dang. Then clearly her dude doesn't love her more than I can. Someone else said I read too fast and I would vote no, but if I see the ring on a left hand, I'm assuming married. Yes, I leave her alone unless she approaches me and I find out or expresses she's not actually married and the ring is just a keepsake. So the right doesn't symbolize much in our culture. The left hand is what counts. So I think a lot of people didn't understand the question. I had this submitted by a woman who said she just really wanted a diamond ring and didn't want to have to wait until marriage for it. So that was something she did as like a gift to herself. But I had my thoughts about that, and I was
That's
just like,
crazy.
I know,
That's
I
crazy.
know. I think it sends the wrong signals to guys, and some guys don't pay attention like which hand it is. They just say diamond ring, and they're like, oh. So what are your thoughts?
So what I want to say to that is, yes, one, if I see it on her right hand, in my mind, that I believe that means it typically means that they're divorced. So they just took it from their left and put it on their right, and I'm just like, okay, that's what that means. But if a woman has it on her left hand, I can tell you, I have enough female friends where some of them are like single, but if they go out to an event where they're like, I don't want to be bothered,
Yep,
they got a little fake ring that they'll put on their left hand.
it's a do not disturb.
Exactly. So it's like, don't think that always means they're married. Like,
Now,
if you want to just get to know them and ask them, like, start a conversation. Don't walk in there like, sup, like I'm trying to get with you. I don't care about that ring. It's like, yeah,
if I'm interested, I'm gonna ask a question about it.
You can use that left hand all the time now.
Interesting. Okay. I was just about to ask him, but he went backstage. All right. I'm going to move on to the next question. If y'all don't have any other, Mom, did you have any thoughts on this one before we move on?
I mean, I don't got a lot of friends that's married. I don't got a lot of family that's married. So if I was single, and realistically, I don't know which hand it's supposed to go on. Like if I see a big diamond, I'm gonna be like, okay, she got a man, but I'm not, I don't have, when it comes to etiquette, I'm not really too, it's right hand, left hand, If you got a big ring on your hand, I would stay away.
Okay. All righty. We're going to move on to this one that's a little more lighthearted, and y'all had fun with this one.
I can't hear. What happened? Is that my audio?
Can you hear?
Dang, I can't hear nothing. Let me see.
Oh, no. So this one,
there we go.
I simply said, women can't resist and I had no idea what y'all would come back with, but I'm going to read some of these.
Ooh.
The first one was my favorite. It said they can't resist a chance to vote on a survey that says men only. Real quick, I got to pause the show because Diane sent in $10 or $20. And I am assuming this is a show extension. Let me see. All right, let me go in here.
Did Diane or Janice? I see Janice here.
Diane did. I think Diane is probably the one that I said I couldn't remember what her actual name was because it's just initials on here. So if that is you, darling, go ahead and put the $10. Put $10 in the comment, and then I can highlight you, give you a little bit of love. But thank you so much for the $10. We love a good show extension. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this down so I don't forget. Okay. The next one, women can't resist avoiding accountability. Wah, wah, wah.
Why is that wah, wah? We act like that's not true.
I'm saying wah, wah, wah because the other ones were funny. Okay. The third one, women can't resist a well-dressed man, universal and regardless of age. He has stood the test of time. That is true. A well-dressed man is nice. Women can't resist a pookie. Good. I can resist a pookie. Come on now. Women can't resist a deal or buy one, get one. Women can't resist wearing tacky lashes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if you want to keep reading the rest of them, go ahead and subscribe to patreon.com. Oh, he said can't resist an argument. My goodness.
Why is Naeem still on the panel?
I don't. He said he's recovering from COVID, but
that's right. He did say that. My bad, bro. I forgot.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No smoke.
What's a pookie?
A pookie is an ineligible person.
Come on, bro.
an ineligible person, somebody who is not qualified to date a woman. But there is this fictional character in men's mind that
Women's mind.
this guy is really, really sexy. He's typically unemployed. He's typically a womanizer. He's usually living in his mom's basement, but he's so sexually appealing that the women don't care that he has charges and all this stuff. Like basically, he's super ineligible to a woman who has standards, but she's willing to give him the booty and sometimes kids. Correct me if
I would characterize a Pookie more as he is a he's an uneducated individual who doesn't necessarily have to be sexually appealing to women, but the characteristics that he possessed, like just being a big red flag, you know, they like that about him. They like the fact that he's a crash out. They like the fact that he doesn't necessarily plan for his future. You know, he lived one day at a time. And it's just, you know, he just, you know, them guys that be terrorizing the hood, you know, just somebody who wasn't raised with a father, just, you know, a stereotypical hoodlum knucklehead. That's a Pookie and a Ray Ray.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, I like this one.
A baby daddy who don't take care of his kids. That's a Pookie and a Ray Ray.
She said, "Women can't resist a man who means what he says and says what he means." Woo! That's right, girl. Goodness gracious. All right, so let's see here. Without further ado, we have one more. Women think we love blank, but we really don't.
Well, I can go for all day. I can go all day on this.
Dang, let them know, friend. Let them know. Women think we love blank, but we really don't.
They think we love BBLs and like all the makeup and all that type of stuff because them girls happen to get a lot of likes when they photos, but most of them likes is from other girls anyway, and like dweebs. It's from other girls and it's from dweebs, like who, like guys who just don't get women and they spend they time liking photos of women they'll never get. Like men don't, and
I don't have to say anything on this one.
Yeah, like, and they'll see a basketball player or a rapper dating these women, and they'll be like, no, that's what guys like. That's what all the guys like because the basketball players and the rappers.
That's what we get.
Yeah, like that's not, you know, and plus like like who you expect a rapper to be with? Like they gonna be with them girls, like I don't know, but men do not like that. They don't like the lashes. Now they'll take you down. They don't care about that. Like, they will take you down, but they not you're not gonna look like the same person with all that stuff off.
You seen that video where the guy goes and asks a bunch of girls like, what do they think men prefer? And like 15 girls say, you know, he says natural BBL, and 15 of the girls are like, basically all of them say BBLs, and then he asks 15 guys, every one of them says natural, but women are like, no, they didn't say that. Like, men want women who naturally look like they have BBLs. We like women. Well, those of us, excuse me. I can't speak for all men because men are not monoliths before I get one of those fucking talking point strikes too. Most guys want women that have a certain hip to bust ratio that oftentimes which is the same look that women go for when they go get BBLs. So they're thinking that they're becoming more attractive for us because it gets them more attention. Thing is, it only gets you more sexual attention. We will bend over a woman with a BBL because she's got a fatty, but we're not going to marry her because she has a fatty, or you know what I'm saying. We will take a girl out that's half naked because she got her body done. We won't marry that girl. But too, like a lot of the girls with BBLs, they think that all we care about is body. They need to get their faces done too. Like I never understood why they stop. Like they get their titties and their butt done, but don't do nothing to their face. Like that is crazy to me. Like, what are we supposed to look at? Like, if you don't want us to have you bent over 24/7, like, damn, give us something to look at in the front more than.
How do you really feel?
That's how I really feel. Like, it's like, why do you stop? It's like it's so lazy to me. Like if I see a girl that got her whole body done, but her face is still toe up, like it's just lazy.
Maybe she doesn't think her face is torn up.
That's not true. Come on, let's be realistic. She knows her face is torn up, but she thinks she's gonna get a sucker to deal with it. Like, well, my face is
So
torn
I
up,
would.
but these titties.
I don't think people know they ugly.
Like, they
You
do.
know,
I think that's what you say. I don't think everyone
no,
realizes.
they
Other
they
people
know
do that.
they know they ugly, but for some reason they always tell themselves it's a chance they not, right? And that's
Yeah,
what they
because of the
kind of
men in their
stick on.
comments, like them same
Yeah,
dweebs we were talking about, liking shit. They don't know.
yeah.
Like, they like it. All the ugly. Look at what's his name, white friend, the girl who looked like Gucci Mane with a BBL. Like, her comments go crazy. Dudes is always lusting after her, but she looks just like Gucci Mane. But
Who is this?
T.I.'s wife's best friend. I can't think of her name, but she was on the TV show with him.
I would say that when
Hold on, somebody just texted me. She said he said Shekinah. That's her name. She looks just like Gucci Mane in the face, but she got her body done. So dudes deal with it.
So I think that men, when women say what men like, there has to be a clarification what arouses them sexually versus what they would want on their arm and taking home to their mom. There is a difference because I think they can't say men don't like this, but yet that makes them want to sleep with a woman. They're obviously getting attention, so that's why they're going out and doing that. Because I think that if they got really bad reactions, they wouldn't continue to do that. Now, I do agree that a lot of women are like, yes, yes, and they're hyping them up and stuff like that. But the fact that men are still willing to smash a chick who has a big prosthetic derriere, then the women who get confused about smashing being equivalent to liking are going to keep thinking this is a positive thing.
Y'all give us men, y'all give men too much credit. I'm not trying to be funny. Men will hit anything. Men are out here hitting other men. Not trying to be funny, but women have buttholes too. So, like, you can't really give, like, men too much grace because a dude will literally, the average guy will literally stick his male parts in anything. And again, a lot of the people who push back on that are anything that these men are hitting. So it's like, why is it so surprising that dudes will hit a chick with, a half a gallon of concrete in her ass? Like,
I got a question for the fellas. Do y'all really think that women do this stuff for us, or is it?
They do it for us, but now it's gotten to the point where they kind of do it for other women too. Like that, like a woman. It's because you got to really dissect it because men will say this all day, right? But women do still think that once they get the BBL that they still gonna get the attention because they might still get the attention from whoever they're getting it from. But like that, like a lot of women get lip fillers. They do the makeup face. It's a lot of things that they do, and it gives them this same look and the same vibe and the same feel to where they want to look like it's this look where it's like it kind of look like money, but it don't really look like money, but it's like this weird look they go for. And I think they just want to look like they got money
they do
or
it
something
for
like
the same
that.
reason. Like, all rich dudes tend to go get foreign cars. It's the same thing with women. They just get lucky because what they do to their bodies only costs $20,000-$30,000.
Or guys with chains. Like,
we gotta go get a car that costs $150,000 to start to look like we have money.
Yeah.
And then it's an aesthetic. If we're in a group of people with money, we have to go do things that they do so we can look like we fit in. Those women want to fit in with other women who are desirable, so they do the things that unfortunately a lot of desirable women feel they have to do, which is saying go just get an air pump and stick it in their ass, which is cool. Like, if God didn't grant it, implant it. If you can't grow it, sow it. I love for a woman to have a positive body image. However, what is annoying to me is when women try to tell men how we feel about it. And if you ask any guys on here, I would bet a little bit of money that most of us are going to say we would prefer natural if we have a choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any alterations for me is a disqualification, unless it's you have a medical issue or something like that. But anything altered, yeah, I'm out.
I'd rather take a chick with no arm than like a BBL. No, I'm sure every guy in here has seen a woman with missing something that was like.
I know somebody fine as fuck that got one arm.
Yeah,
there was a lady where I used to live, and she'd wear leggings all the time. And if you guys have ever had toddlers, you know what it's like when they're walking around with a saggy diaper that is just like really needs to be changed. And she literally looked like that.
That's the
And
Groupon. That's the Groupon ones though. Like we don't even pay them no attention. We want the ones that go to like LA. Like anyone that goes to LA to get their surgery done, it's gonna be done right because it's expensive. That's who came out with, like you know what I'm saying, with the braless breast lip. That's who came out with the gummy bear boobies. That's the one that came out, like we were saying, with the BBL work. You know, they do the. Anyway, moral of the story is we don't want them cheap ones. Like even the ones, those of us who will deal with it, we don't want that saggy diaper ass, that Bugs Life booty. Like we're not dealing with that for real. And the dudes that do are the same dudes that got to take women with high body counts because that's the best they can do. Like I would never in my life be seen with nobody like they got a garbage can stuck in their pants. Like that's wild.
somebody said, women think we love blank, but we don't. They said makeup, lashes, all that stuff. He said just shower, do laundry regularly, use lotion, and maybe even some perfume or earrings if you like. That's enough and natural. I will say this. I think that when I advise women, I advise them to err on the side of caution. If an overwhelming majority of men say they don't like something, maybe stay away from that so you can be more universally appealing. And then I believe that when you are in a relationship, you should care a lot about what your partner says. I'm not saying you have no opinions, but for me, I will only speak for myself. If my guy doesn't like certain things, there's something that's really trendy right now, and Monte hates it. And I think it is the cutest thing.
What's this?
So, those really wide leg pants. Like I love trouser pants, like where they're high waisted and they have that. I mean, it's been around for a long time, but like now they're making jeans like that. But I love a trouser leg where it's like it comes down and gets wider at the end.
Flare leg pants, like the old Jinko jeans that everybody.
No, flare is like where it comes out and then it almost like belt. Like maybe it would be called flare.
Yeah, flare leg is where it gets wider at the bottom. It looks like
a so flare is like it's basically just it's wide all the way down, as opposed to being tight hip and coming. So he doesn't like it. He also is not a fan of like strap up shoulderless stuff. So for me, I think it's super pretty. But when I'm going out with him, I'm trying to look good for him. So I'm gonna pick something that he personally likes and thinks looks good. And if I'm buying new stuff, I'm always gonna ask him, hey, do you like this? And I think that at the end of the day, yes, you should feel good in it, but I also think that your person should like how it looks. And I don't think that's somebody being like a sellout or a simp or whatever. I think it's like there's a fine balance between the two. Yes, sir.
I like my woman naked at home.
So I would say this, and I think this is kind of
naked at home.
Oh.
Oh, God.
So I think this is kind of common amongst like people that are in relationships, is that in any relationship, your partner is going to have some sort of clothing item that you just absolutely don't like, and vice versa. So I know for me, my wife has like shoes that I'm just like, you can wear those, can you just not wear it with me? You know? And she knows which ones I'm talking about. Whereas with her, it's like whenever we go out somewhere, of course, I'm like, I need to know where we're going, because if anyone knows me, typically you're always going to see me with a Nats hat. Anywhere I'm going, I got these in a billion different colors, like some of them right behind me. I'm like, I'm not exaggerating this. I literally have over 100 of all different colors. So, but if we're going out somewhere nice, I was like, nah, take the hat off. I'm like, rock the body, you know what I'm saying? So, but if anyone knows me, I always have a hat on. With her, she'll say, like, why do you always got to have Jordans and hats and stuff like that? I'm like, that's just me. That's my personality. But if I need to put a suit on, if I need to show up and show out, I got that. I can switch it up. So I'm just saying, like, in most common relationships, everyone has something that there's one thing about them, you know, like for example, my wife, she has beautiful long hair. Whenever she asks, I'm like, I prefer you keep it down. She likes to pin it up. I'm like,
that's my thing. He loves it down. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, what you grow up for if you gonna put it up? So what you gonna grow up for if you're gonna put it up?
No, sometimes the woman just wants it out of her face because it's just always.
Well, then take that shit off like the rest of them do. But if you can't, then you just gotta have it down. Yeah, you can. If you don't want your hair in your face, cut it short and put a wig on so you can take it off.
Oh my gosh, I can't even.
I want to meet the woman that screwed you up. I want her on this next show. I'm like,
And I want to meet their father who made that shit make sense because no woman.
Okay. All right. Shots fired. Shots fired. I'm gonna get into some of these questions. Women think we love hearing about their job. Ooh.
Hey, look, he wants to see y'all. So now you seen everybody seeing you bark. Now go ahead.
Aw, so cute.
Thank you.
We got our first show doggy, our mascot.
No, our mascot doesn't come on board anymore.
Women think we love to be challenged. Really? Do women think men love to be challenged?
So women think that men love
A challenge.
Love a challenge.
We don't.
Oh,
we really don't.
He said we don't.
I get my challenges from my PlayStation.
So
someone said someone we could rescue.
Hold on. Let me before you go to the next thing. Let's stay here for a minute. Women think we love a challenge. We don't. No man on this panel refuted that statement. Let's stay here for a minute. Like pause for 5 seconds. Let that sink in.
So they want someone who is easy to get and
when the
does
sisterhood
not
gets
require
together.
any
What was that?
I didn't say easy. I just said why I gotta be challenging.
There you go.
I think men and women like a challenge to some degree. You gotta challenge a woman too.
Some degree. I agree with that, Mont.
You gotta be. I need a strong, real man that can handle me. No, not a zookeeper, baby. I don't want to have to handle. I got a puppy for that.
Well, like when I think we like a challenge in terms of like. I'm not gonna say we. I'm gonna say me, and I guess men like me. Like don't make like it's like you go up to a girl. And she ready to fuck. You like, okay, that's too easy for me, obviously, right? That's too easy.
Yeah.
It's that easy, you don't want it. So you want her to kind of like do the dance with you a little bit. You know, you don't want to. If she just fall right into your lap, all right, I'm hitting you. Like it's, you know, we're going to do this as fast as possible. You know, that's how that works. Like you wanted to, you know, at least make it so that I gotta get to know you. At least make it so that I gotta kind of make you feel comfortable, and I should know that I have to make you feel comfortable. Like. And also like women kind of like that a little bit in return, like after that part, and like you know they want you to kind of not be so. They want to know that you're interested, but you're not really willing to give up all of your boundaries and all that type of stuff. Like you interested, but at the same time, it don't like I can bounce right now. So you know you can't be too like them guys who just really like thirsty and over the top with it, and they can just tell they can do whatever they want with them.
The challenge should be you having realistic standards for us to meet. That's the challenge for the average guy anyway. But as far as you thinking that we finna come through here and deal with your attitude and all the rest of that shit, no.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm not. I mean, there are people that will. We've obviously, but it's typically not the men that women actually want. They're not gonna put up with none of that stuff. That's dumb.
I agree.
We've done some good here tonight, gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely with that one question alone. That one question alone.
We did some good here tonight.
I mean, I'll tell you this. If I met a woman that says, oh, I need a strong man to handle me, I would have been like, then go join the UFC then, because I'm trying to date you, not fight you.
I know what women mean when they say that though. Like
exactly. Like I
they need a man who like
you do.
If I tell you to be quiet, right? You be quiet. And she needs a man who understand who she's going to respect that from. And I think that's what women mean when they say that. Of course, you got the other ones who just young and immature, but most women understand that like they need a man. They know that they can be a little bit much, and they need a man who's like not going to be for their nonsense.
Right.
And I think that's kind of like what some of them are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Some women have had guys that don't speak up because they don't want to cause conflict. But I think that in relationships, you have to be able to see someone's blind spot and let them know where you think that they can improve and do it in a loving way. So, you know, I think it's important for a guy to not feel like he can't speak up. Not saying that she, you know, should be having bad behavior, but like for me, I respect a man who could say, no, I don't like that. I'd rather you do this instead. Like, I don't want a guy who's just like, okay, great. Yeah, everything you say is fine. I want someone with a bit of backbone.
Because people, they know you love them when you actually care about certain things.
That part.
You know, you don't.
A mature woman will. The rest of them be like, oh, you try to tell me what you do, you're controlling.
Oh yeah, they stupid.
Do better, women.
Do better. All right, we are going to get into the submitted post. This one I actually just stole from the good old internet because I was being lazy and I didn't go through my submitted questions. All right, so we're going to talk asking a woman out. We still have 15 likes, so feel free, y'all, to hit that like button if you have not yet. Let me go ahead and add this here. All right, here is the question of the night. Why does it seem like it's always inappropriate to ask women out? It seems like no matter the situation, it's going to be creepy. You can't ask out coworkers, girls at the gym, girls in your apartment complex, or girls you see who are working, or any girl in public for that matter. It's kind of creepy how he's calling them girls, actually. If you're religious, it's inappropriate to ask women out at church. So when and where can you actually do it without being creepy? A bar, a club? I don't go to those places. And online is a dumpster fire. I was at Walmart the other day looking for motor oil for my Jeep, and there was a woman fairly attractive there also looking for oil, triggered by that misspelling. I wasn't even trying anything. My exact words were, do they even make conventional motor oil anymore? And she looked at me like, oh my God, please leave me alone. I had no other intentions other than finding the oil that I needed and thought maybe she might have some insights, but I could just feel her cringing inside, and she just gave me a half chuckle and grabbed her oil and left. I understand there are a lot of creepy men and that women are constantly hit on everywhere they go, but if I never say anything, then how the hell am I supposed to meet people? How do people get into relationships? If it's always considered inappropriate to even try. And I didn't think I would ever say this. Oh, and he's not even on here right now. I would want to know what he looks like. I pulled a Willie on this one because I'm picturing some sexy man with chiseled abs and a thick, juicy beard and side teeth. And I don't picture women being like, ew, stay in your lane, sir. Don't talk to me about oil. I'm just thinking.
I think you got to read the room. I think you got to. Women will give signals. She'll give you a clue if she wants to be approached or not.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice for the guy.
Can we say hoe on here?
I'll allow it. I will allow it.
Okay. I think like when men ask questions like these, that's kind of like them acting like a hoe.
For sure.
Of like, why are you asking all these questions? Like, why does there's go and talk to her. You talk to whoever you want to. I don't care. Don't think about nothing else. Approach whoever you want to and act and just don't be a weirdo. But like you can say whoever you want to. It's a free country. Like if they don't want you to approach them, they'll let you know, hey, I find it creepy that you approach me. Okay, you have a good day. Like stop asking all these questions.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, because you're not gonna win with every single one.
So I remember I've asked myself this same exact question long ago. Like, I probably said the same thing except for, the internet being a dumpster fire. I'm like, again, the last time I was on the internet searching for someone, like I said, that was like 9 years ago. So from what I could gather, a whole lot probably has changed, and it might be just that today. I don't know. But as far as like, would I approach a woman that was living in the same vicinity as me at my job or is currently engaged in the gym? Absolutely not. Because if it could go wrong, it will. I can tell you that right now. You don't want to date a coworker because that's just sexual harassment, even if it's just gentle flirting. It's like it's not going to end well. People that live in your same neighborhood, just why? Like I don't want to be that accessible. And if she's at the gym, she's there to work on herself, not for looking for a partner. So why are you there looking for a partner? No, you're there to work on yourself. Do that and then leave.
I'd be okay with being hit on at the gym.
See? But if I'm looking at you working out with headphones on, I'm not going to walk up to you, tap you on the shoulder, say, "Hey, what's your name?" You're going to be like,
"No." What I'm saying is, if I catch a guy looking at me and I see him looking at me, and I'm like,
right. That's why I said you got to read the room. Like, things will be there if you pay attention. You just gotta, if you're looking for it, it's there.
Just
because I know how to give a choosing signal. So if you keep looking at me,
staring at her just sounds creepy as hell. Just stare at her.
I don't care how it sounds. Do it.
I've asked a woman in all these scenarios.
No, what did you say?
Church,
So creepy, Ray?
church, work, apartment.
Listen.
I've look, all them scenarios I done had success in. I don't like. I'm with mine.
When a girl in the gym, and girls do this to me, right? They'll look at me and I'll look this way, and they looking at me, and I'm like, oh, you're trying to, but like,
I'm not choosing you back.
Yeah, but like they'll stare at you, like they're gonna stare at you for a good 4 to 5 seconds.
So perfect example. So we were out at an event a couple weeks ago, last week, week before, whatever. And there were people there. There were two guys. One in particular, I think I mentioned this. He locked eyes with me. You have that first one where you're like, you just notice someone's looking at you and not breaking eye contact. So you kind of just like, oh, but then it registers like, oh, if I look a second time, it's going to be the green light. So for me, it was like I had to make a conscious effort to not turn this way, because if we locked eyes, I feel like he could possibly interpret it that way. And I'm funny about that. Like I won't be smiling at the dudes and I won't be super chatty with them. Like if I don't have to talk to them, I won't talk to them, because I know that guys who are really tuned in can take it as a choosing signal. So to me, when I do want something, I'm gonna be in your face. I'm gonna be extra smiley. Everything you say is extra funny. I'm gonna be touching your bicep. Like, I'm gonna give choosing. Like it's gonna be very clear if Yonci's flirting with you. Like you're not gonna be confused. And otherwise, I'm very HR lady. Thank you so much. Have a great day, sir. Like I'll be calling people sir. You take care. You be blessed now, sir. Yeah, I do want to say this because I missed this before. This is a very great one. Nayusi said, men don't like a challenge from the perspective of playing games or making us prove our intentions. Challenging us to be the best version of ourselves is what's welcome. Well said. Well said. Golf clap. I sent you a message, Mont, in the group chat, the private chat, if you can take a peek. Falaki says, I'm okay with being approached at the gym. It's so interesting because, excuse me, what's it called? There are so many women. Yes, Lynette said, look at the panel come through, Black men. Yes, girl. I'm here for it. I love the men stepping up, but there are some women, I feel like the ones that are loud and obnoxious, they're being heard the most, but they're the ones complaining about men approaching. What I get with all my students is I only do online dating because I'm forced to. I hate online dating. I would rather meet a guy organically. Why don't guys come up and talk? So what I'm hearing is I want men to approach. I want men to approach. I want men to approach. So I think that we need to get, and men keep saying, we want to meet organically. We don't want to be in forced situations that don't feel organic. So we have to get okay with shooting your shot, and women hush if they're not being inappropriate. And inappropriate means like touching you without consent, not going away after you said no. To me, there should be nothing wrong. There should be no stigma attached to, hey, I find you attractive, is it okay? Are you open to conversation? Something along those lines. That's not sexual harassment to me. Someone licking their lips, smacking, looking at you up and down. Okay, now you're crossing into creep mode. But if you just say, hey, I noticed you. I might be out here, but it seemed like we kept catching each other's eye whenever we're on the treadmill together, at the same time. And, would you be interested in And then she might say, oh, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. I'm taken. Blah, blah, blah. And then he's, oh, no worries. And you move on. You don't make it weird. You don't turn into a freak.
You'll hit it with a brick.
Right.
You don't have her side teeth anymore. No,
I'm gonna go with mine on this one. Like the fact that he even asked the question is like why would you even ask that question? Is it always inappropriate? The fact that you even asked that question means that at some point you made it inappropriate when you approached a woman at some point. Because if you know what you're doing, like if you know how to read body language, it's not going to be inappropriate. You're either going to read the room and execute, or you're going to move on. Like you're not going to sit around and have this question: is it appropriate or is it not appropriate? You're just going to go after it if you want it. So I agree with Mike on that.
So let me say this. Let me say this real quick. So I got a very, very beautiful 5-year-old son upstairs right now. Anytime we go somewhere, I swear to God, it doesn't matter. Anywhere we go, this little boy finds a friend. And what I take away from that is, see, he already knows how to meet people. He can see a group of kids somewhere, and what does he do? He walks over and says, "Hi." If he has a toy, or they have a toy, or maybe they're kicking a ball, he'll come over and say, "Hi, can I play?" And I'm just like, adults could learn from that. Like, just walk up and say, "Hey, how are you? I'm ready." Okay, now we got a conversation. Now we got an introduction. It doesn't necessarily need to be like walking in and kind of make it awkward. Hey, what's your
Yeah.
name? Okay. Hey, quick question, just so I get this off the table. What's your body count? Like,
And do you want marriage now?
yes.
I was at Target and I saw this woman, and it was so funny because I was in the market for a specific brand of shoes, and she had on the exact brand, and I was like, oh my gosh, super cute. And I have been talking to the girls in my group we were talking about cute outfits that are still cute and feminine. They're not looking sloppy, sweats, hair, all whatever. And she just epitomized beauty. Gorgeous woman. Like, if I had permission, I would post her picture right now. But did not have a stitch of makeup on, beautiful skin, and her outfit was just so classy. And so I just walked up to her and I just said, "Oh my gosh." I said, I hope I don't sound like a weirdo. That's like the perfect intro for somebody. If you kind of, you could be joking, and obviously I'm not hitting on her sexually, but I'm approaching a total stranger, which could be a little bit daunting. I'm going to mute you, Willie, because it's picking up your background noise, but just unmute when you're ready to talk. So I just came up and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for those shoes." And, Google Lens is this thing where if you take a picture of it, it'll just pull it up and you can find it online. And
Google?
so
Android.
Google Lens.
Android. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's a Google app. And so she was like, "Yeah, sure." And then she was like, I said, "I won't get your face, I promise." She said, "Okay, you sure?" And then I was laughing and I said, "Well, actually, I do want to take your picture because you're so pretty." And I said, "I'm a dating coach, and we were talking about fashion, and your outfit is just everything." So it organically led into like a near 20-minute conversation. She's, "Oh my God, you're a dating coach? I'm single. What's up with guys? They don't approach me." And I was like, if I was a guy, I would approach you. She's so pretty. But not like she didn't carry herself like, she just looked like a normal girl from just around the way or whatever. Turns out she's from New York. And she said, "I don't know if it's the Dallas guys." She said, "But in New York, the guys holler. Like, anywhere I go, they're hollering, whatever. Here, they do not talk to me." She said, "It's almost like they want me to talk to them. Like the guys expect the women to approach them or something." So she said, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I've never had a problem talking to strangers. And I think a big part of it is I don't base my worth and my value on their reaction. If somebody acts funny, like, because I'll be somewhere sometimes and I'm like, "Oh, can you believe that?" And if they just look at me like, I don't think I'm a weirdo and tone it down. I just continue to be me. And the majority of people will be social and they'll interact back. But I think sometimes people are overly focused on that one reaction. So if you get that funky attitude, then you're like, "Oh, I'm never asking again." And the next person could have been your wife.
It's funny you say that. I think we don't humanize it enough. Just meeting people, like, and just starting conversations with people. Like, I'm
That's
one
for real human beings.
right. Like, I'm one to do that. Like, I've been out, at the bar or whatever, and I'll just start talking to a girl, and she's like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend," and I'm like, "Well, I wasn't even hitting on you. I was just starting a conversation with
You're
you."
like, "Congratulations."
Right. Like, it wasn't that. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just, it was just I guess a natural reaction." And we end up having a really good conversation. But it just seems like it's like this silent thing where it's like, as soon as you approach somebody, it's an automatic, like, "Oh, I'm necessarily hitting on you, or I'm interested in you in that particular way." Like, where necessarily I just was just interested in just a conversation.
Yeah.
About what? A conversation about what?
It could be anything, whatever's on my mind at the time.
I feel like it makes sense that she said that because, like, I got a boyfriend. Why are you talking to me? Like, why you want a conversation? Like, do you have anything to talk
Chit-chat
about?
with ugly ladies?
Huh?
Sorry, Mom. I said, does he chit chat with ugly ladies?
Exactly. Like, if she was ugly, like, would you have approached her? And
Yeah, if I'm out and I'm in that vibe, man, I'm out to have be social, then yeah, I'm gonna be social.
So she busting
With-
down, her
with
teeth are yellow.
with no
crusty
intention
feet.
on anything.
She got
I don't buy it.
crusty feet. She got
I know you.
a
I figured
wig
you would
that's
say
like.
that.
Sorry, you still gonna chop it up with her?
I figured you would say that.
I'm
Nah,
regret.
I would feel like that girl. She ain't got no friends if someone let her out the house like that. I'm like, damn.
Right? I would say you don't got no friends.
You
But
don't got a
no,
mirror?
when you said the thing about people, like remembering that they're people, I really feel like that. I really think that as humans, sometimes we've lost just normal social interaction. And a lot of people blame it on social media. I don't even think it's social media. I think it's that we have a lot of pacifiers, which like the phone becomes a pacifier. Because back in the day, if you're in a waiting room, like you're forced to sit there and kind of like look around. Now everyone's on, I do it too. Like everyone's on their phone. So I remember when I was single, there was a time, oh my gosh, this guy was so attractive. I mean, he wasn't attractive at all. A guy who was just vaguely attractive was about to cross the crossing walk, and I was sitting there at the light. And I was like, oh my God, this could so be like a scene out of a movie if our eyes connect and he finds me attractive and then, roll over. And before the light changes, I give him the number right. And he never looked up because he was so into his phone. And so it made me think, I wonder how many opportunities are missed because people are just constantly looking down and doing like this. And so I think there are a lot of opportunities where you could organically meet someone, but it's not going to happen because people are not in that way. And that's why for me, I want to host events. Those of you who are at my event, you saw I'm going to have things that forces people to talk. Because once you break that first layer of ice, it's easy. Like I couldn't get people to shut up after that. I was literally making this heartfelt speech, all emotional, and people would not stop talking. And I said, I would be offended if this wasn't a singles event. And the fact that they're talking over me means that they're just really excited to talk to each other. But it was like game on after that. All it took was that little icebreaker. So people just have to learn how to, I think, get over their egos and not like they're vain, but just overthinking it. Like
I'm with Greg. I've gone to a place I don't know nobody and talked to people. I mean, literally, like this week, sat down at a table, bunch of strangers. Hey, y'all think Jay-Z did it? And just started
different though. That's different though. He approached a singular woman. He approached a singular woman to have a conversation. He didn't do that like, hey, how's the weather, man? I'm bored. There's nobody to talk to. You the only other person here. Let's talk. He did it probably because she was cute or whatever. But I think also though, like, why are y'all afraid to say that like women ruined these the conversation thing? It's women did it.
What
like,
you mean?
Because like we can't, like a lot of women are stuck up. So men are like, all right, well, I'm not about to just be talking to any woman because they're not just going to have a conversation with any guy, right? They're going to be like, oh, why are you talking to me? Like, why are, they going, a lot of us have been shut down not so nicely before. So we're not just having conversations. Like we can talk to another man easy. But like women, we tiptoe because we know like, oh, she look like she didn't even want to talk to me. It is what it is. So until
I never understood the guys that immediately got offended behind that. Like they go talk to a woman, she doesn't show interest, and they become irate. I'm like, take it as they did you a favor. You ain't got to waste no time with them.
I think it's a defense mechanism. I think because I've run into scenarios where I approach women, she said she had a boyfriend, and come to find out she didn't have a boyfriend. Like,
can I ask you a personal question?
Go ahead.
You ever been turned down because you're light skinned?
Have I been turned down because I'm light skinned? I'm sure that could be. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I know I have, but I just say it like that because everyone has a preference. I'm just saying. So it's like I don't think of offense behind
that was a random ass question, but
no, I'm just saying though. It's like what the point I'm making is women have preferences. Like I've been turned down just for the sole fact of, oh, you're light skinned. Okay, cool. All right, bet. And just go about my business. It's like everyone has a preference. Everyone has a thing. Like it could be, oh, you're bald. I don't date bald men. I was like, oh damn, what bald guy screwed you up? All right, never mind. Keep it going.
I've never took offense to that.
Okay. But the point I'm saying is just everyone has a preference. It's like not every woman I'm ever going to cross paths with is going to say, oh, you're attractive. I'm like, I'm ugly in someone's book. I'm a villain in someone's book. And I'm just like, I'm okay with that.
Women think that light-skinned dudes are soft. That's why like a lot of women think that. So I mean,
This
but
ninja
then
here.
again, just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean someone screwed them up either. Like that's you gotta stop. You gotta break away from that narrative, man, because that might be why they think light skinned dudes are crazy.
How did we get here?
That's what I know.
How did we end up here?
Women think light skinned guys soft because of, like, light skinned guys when we were younger, light skinned guys got a lot of play, and they were like they just leaned into it. Like they leaned into it. They leaned into like being cute, and they leaned into like, all that type of stuff versus in most cases versus like, the rough, being with the rough guys, they leaned into being cute and they was getting the girls. So I think that's why kind of women that helps women think they soft.
I just hope.
I think that's something that's been part of
this
the
attractive
culture
woman in
for
Target to
Yeah.
the
forever.
When you young, light skinned people is in. Like, I don't care what generation.
No,
It don't matter what generation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but y'all light skinned people, y'all get the young ones. Like when y'all in high school and y'all in middle school, y'all can expect a lot of women. My son, he light skinned, he got light eyes. I know he gonna have a smooth early part of his life at least till he start getting turned down when he start, he become an adult because he light skinned. So
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
it was going to turn for him, but
Yeah, I mean, it is.
I definitely
it is
went through
preference.
phases. I went through like
It's definitely preference. Like, it's never stopped me from having women or being, attracted to women. So I guess it is. It's all preference.
you can't let it slow you down. Like, I know a lot of girls let it slow them down, but you can't let it slow you.
Color
You
of
can't let it
skin?
slow you down. Like, just your skin color. Yeah, like some people got preferences. It is what it is. Like,
it is what it. You're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea.
Right.
it is what it is.
Fine is
So,
fine. It was a girl.
I think too. I've had women
Group
use
chat, man.
it as a way to test my confidence.
Uh-oh.
Like I've had women throw shade, like, oh, and still end up doing the nasty with them. Still end up, you know what I mean? It's not. It depends on the scenario, but most of the time, what I've found is that a lot of times women do it as a test. How confident you are as a man. Because it could be anything. It could be your height. Like I've had women say, "Oh, you're not 6'4", or you're not over 6." Like it could be whatever it is that she feel like you're gonna be insecure about. She's gonna try to poke at you and see how you're gonna respond to it.
Women are just horrible
yeah,
human
that makes
beings.
sense. I think that's true.
Do better, women. Do better.
It wasn't that long ago. Like, I want to say actually Thanksgiving. I overheard my wife talking to, some of my cousins, and she mentioned, oh, Ray's the first guy I've ever dated that was over 6 feet tall. And I was like, seriously? I was like, so you were dating midgets and you had to wait till you get a 6'1" guy to be like, oh, that's the one. I was like, okay. I didn't realize that was like such a prolific thing. Like, you got to be at least 6 feet. And I'm just like,
I think it's no, I think it's stupid when it's not relative to the person. Like, I don't know where the 6 foot standard came. I could see if the guy was like exceptionally short, and whenever he was around a bunch of men, he was always a short. I could see that. Like, maybe she's going, I don't want to look like my guy's a shrimp, right? But if you're like 5'11", 5'10", and which is pretty average for guys, I don't understand when the girls are not tall themselves. For me, I never, and I've said this so many times, I've never liked a height because it was a height. I liked it in proportion to how I fit with the person. I liked feeling like if I lean on you, my head fits on your chest. I want my head to hit you at different spots. And so I dated a guy very, very briefly. Like, we didn't get in a relationship, we just dated. And I did not want to move forward because he was so tall. It was a logistical nightmare. Like, my neck hurt trying to look up, if we're standing, you're getting close to someone, you normally are not having to go like this, but he was 6'8", and when he would try to hug me, it was just awkward. So I was like, if I was just into height, like some people are, like, I don't even know. He used to play overseas. I don't think he played in NBA, but I couldn't. I never was into height for the sake of height. It just, I wanted someone that just fit me. And so I feel like if I was shorter, oh my gosh, there'd be so many more options, because if I was 4'11" or 5'2", I wouldn't want a 6 foot tall guy, because that's That's a big height difference.
My wife is 5'2", actually.
That's a big height difference. My parents, big
It's
height
like,
difference.
see, when we're talking, it doesn't seem like that. But when you see a photo of us, you're like, oh, like it really does look like from here to here.
Yeah,
My
I
mom's
can't.
4'11" and my
I
dad's
can't date a
6'1".
woman taller than me.
I know I couldn't. It would
If I
feel
was
so
a guy, I
weird.
wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I knew I couldn't do that. Like it would just feel so weird. Like if I had to do this to talk to a woman, I'd be like, nah, it looks like you're gonna bend me over.
When
I'm
she
like, it
puts
ain't gonna
her
work.
arm around you, and it's
I'm
like
like,
around
don't
your
do
neck.
that. I'll be like, don't do that. I'm like, come on now. I'm like, don't do that.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny. Okay, Mont, are you ready?
Nah,
tapping
I'm
out
still trying
already,
to prepare
Yonci?
these videos for y'all.
Okay, y'all, we have a new segment, semi-new, that I like to call Mont Asks. And so Mont can ask whatever questions he would like to ask. You guys have any questions in the chat, you can ask your questions as well.
Let's say you tapping out already, Yonci?
Ew, I got through my questions and the submitted question. So we are opening it up, but no, I'll stay on. She said they are tall shaming.
Tall
So he's going to send me some videos. There is one that I'll play for you guys in the meantime. Judge Lynn Toller. And I found this very, very fascinating. Okay, here we go.
Someone who doesn't hear them and doesn't feel that their opinion is worthwhile. I think that, I mean, if you want to get biblical about it, Ephesians 5:22, it does say, wives, submit to your husbands. Mm-hmm. But after it says that, what does it say?
Husband, submit to your wife.
And then after that?
I'm
listening. You're talking about divine order, not me.
Oh, okay.
You're very distinct about what the divine order is and what that means. And what I'm telling you, the submission part is dependent on something very deep said after that. And I want to know if you know what it is.
I don't know.
You don't know. See, I just say I don't know. That's one thing about being a good leader. A good leader doesn't pretend he knows where he's going when he doesn't. A good leader knows enough to say, hey, I'm confident enough in my own personal self that I could admit to failure, fault, weaknesses, all of that. If you believe yourself perfect, you never improve.
Oops, sorry. I didn't realize it would stop it if I tapped it. Okay, here we go.
With you, I think you're a decent guy, tell you the truth. But you're just a little confused about what it is to be a man. Let me tell you what it says in Ephesians after all of that. It says 4 times, love her, love her. They say submit once, but they kept repeating, love her, love her. Then they said cherish her. Then they said nourish her. Because all of these 5 verses of demands on you before you get the submission from her. True leaders don't have to ask anybody to follow. They're going somewhere that other person wants to be, and she wants to follow you.
Oh, I said, whoa, that was a mouthful. I always hear, comments from guys that just sound so caveman-like. My woman gonna do this, and she's not gonna be allowed to do that. And wanting submission and all this stuff. And a lot of times, what'd you say? What do you say, Ruben?
That's how.
But a lot of times, they don't understand the concept of a woman, or the nature, rather, of a woman. Where if a woman feels safe and loved, she is going to be agreeable for the most part. And anyone who tries to demand respect, it doesn't usually go that well. It's kind of like the kid at school is trying to demand respect from his peers, or the boss that's trying to demand respect. You might get your employees that do what they need to do because they're not trying to get fired, but they absolutely are not, there because they want to be. If they had any other opportunity, they would jump. So I think this would make for an interesting conversation. Ladies in the comments, have you ever had a guy who demanded that you follow, and maybe he didn't have a great plan or what have you? I think that a lot of this stuff is earned, like not earned in the sense he should have to show you before you just jump with the program. I'm not just gonna submit to somebody because he's interested in me. I gotta see that he's got something going on that I can get with.
In my time, I think I've only dated one woman.
5:22, it does say, why?
Sorry.
I was gonna say, I think in my time I've only dated one woman that was actually into that sort of lifestyle of like, you know, master and submission. And it was like I was immediately like, I'm not gonna take you seriously. Like if you
Are
feel
you
the
talking
need
about like the sexual, like the beat, like when you said
well,
submission,
yeah,
you mean like doms and subs, or you mean like
yeah,
submission and
yeah,
leadership?
like God stuff, but not
Oh,
just
okay, okay.
but not just in a sexual way. I'm talking about like even if we're out somewhere, like she likes to be told what to do at any given time. Like if we're in the
Oh.
grocery store and I say, "Go get me those apples," and she's like, "Yes, master," and I'm just like, "Okay," I'm like,
Yeah,
Jacob question girls.
I don't think she's talking about that type of submission.
"Okay, see, I'm sorry."
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she's I
that's
think
more of a kink, I think.
she's talking about more of like a cooperation. Like she's cooperating to the man's program or whatever, mission or purpose that he's on. She's falling in line with that. So I like how she ended it by saying like, women follow men who are going somewhere. You have to have a sense of purpose. You have a sense of direction of where you're going for a woman to even consider the idea of, taking on your leadership. So a lot of times what happens is women or men, I should say men date and they bring women into their lives without having any sense of purpose, any sense of direction. There's no goal, there's no plan. It's just vibes. It's vibes and and sex. You know what I mean? That's a lot of times how most relationships get started. And then you fall into this place where years go by, and then you look up and you're like, you're asking that question, like, what are we doing? Like, we spent all this time vibing and, the sex was cool. And then you wasted all this time with no real purpose as to what the relationship is going to lead to.
It's not only like purpose for your life, but I think you said the end purpose for the relationship. Like
Right.
that's again, that's why you're dating, figure out what you want. Then when you know what you want, you start to date in that manner. And even you have purpose for your life, you gotta have a purpose for the relationship too. Like why are we here? Why are we doing this? I never understood the vibes and the energy. Like I hear the words, I don't know what the hell that stuff mean half the time. I think people really using it to cover up the fact they really don't know what they're doing or what they want. Because when you know what you want, you're very clear. And you don't use vibes and energy. Like you say, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I want. I mean, you don't go to apply for a job. I'm here for the vibes and the energy. Like you want a certain income, you want a certain retreated benefits, etc. And if you still on the vibes and the energy and all that other stuff, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I'm just saying that don't sound very specific to me.
Right.
And I think people like we just don't hear enough of that. Like and even in these podcasts, when we're not, we get past the shock value and we get past the triggering questions and we start to ask people what they really want. There's very few of these podcasts or these on the interwebs and these conversations where people really go that deep. It's real surface. And I think we're missing an opportunity to like have some real conversation. I think we do it better than most on this panel, but I would love for people to pause and actually, find out what people really mean. And not in a harsh way, but really just challenge people in their thinking. When I should be a little vulnerable here, when I went through therapy, when I had my best moments was when he was just challenging my thinking. He wasn't trying to call me out or make me feel small, but he was just like, well, you said this. Is this really what you mean? Like let's investigate that further. And I think we need a little bit more of that, where people need to really sit down and express and what do you really mean by that? Because I think a lot of people don't know what the hell they mean. And they just want vibes and energy because everybody got vibes and energy. Or the people who are doing it right don't really take the time to explain to get there. I like Judge Tola because she talks about her relationship and she goes there a lot of the times. Like she breaks it down really well. You heard her talk about her and her husband. But we don't get enough of that. And I think we're doing ourselves a disservice, which is why we are where we are. I wish more people shared the positives and the negatives about getting to know people in their relationships. I think people would benefit.
And it's funny, I was thinking about this the other day. I think a lot of that has changed with because if you think about it, like, my parents' generation, not even my parents, I would say my grandparents' generation, the roles were already set in place. The purpose was already set in place. Like a woman would she'll be home, she'll be cooking, she'll take care of the kids, and the man went to work. That was the plan. That was the goal. You get together, you have a family, you raise kids, and that's it. Now with the dynamic shifting a little bit, where women are becoming more, into their careers, they're becoming more independent. Now they're just feeling like, it seems like, men and women are just feeling a void and not really coming together with a partnership and a bigger purpose and a bigger goal together. Like, it's like, okay, I make my money, you make your money, let's just get together, have a good time, and see where this thing go. Like, that's, from my experience, that's what I noticed. Like, a lot of dating is trending in that direction because of the idea of, okay, I'm independent, you're independent, and we like you said, like, we can just end up vibing and here for the the energy and the good times.
See, that's the thing. When I was first married, I was married before. Not my first marriage, my only one, and it was like that. It was, on paper, it was perfect. She was smart, educated, checked all the boxes. She's attractive, but I always talk about when I see Yonci and her fiance now, like they seem like they're having a good time. And I've seen people in relationships where they feel like they not only are they walking the same purpose, they're doing well, but they're enjoying this thing.
Right, enjoying the journey.
And for me, to share my journey, I'm not meeting a lot of women where I'm like enjoying the process. Like, like I said, it feels like work. It feels like an interview. We can't have fun. It's just like, I can't wait for this to be over and go home. And I have had a lot of that lately. It feels like going to work, and like, I don't want to go to work after work. So that part of the journey, like, I envy. When y'all seeing them hang out, they just doing weird stuff on the internet. Like, it's life. Those are the moments you're going to look back on and think fondly of. Not the fact that you ate somewhere, and I don't know, got interviewed for 2 hours and then went home and went your separate ways. I think a lot, like, I don't know, I don't speak for a lot of people I don't know. I just know I checked the boxes with my first marriage. She checked all of them. But did we have a good time? That's a whole nother conversation.
I got a question for Mont, because I seem like Mont, I don't want to say master, but he's figured out, he cracked the code to bring in, that so-called the vibes and energy into the relationship while still maintaining a sense of purpose and being intentional in the relationship. So how do you, from a man's perspective, as a partner, how do you maintain that balance of bringing vibes, energy, and bringing the purpose, and being intentional with the relationship?
I'm trying to see if I understand the question. So basically, when you say bringing vibes, I'm assuming you mean,
we use the word vibes. Give me another word, Jason. Give me another. We was using that word vibes, but maybe I'm using the wrong word.
I think Jason might have slid off.
Ruben,
I'm assuming Jason is the other light-skinned fellow.
No, that was Ray.
Ray, yeah.
Oh, you mean Jacob? I'm sorry, Jacob.
I'm sorry.
No,
My fault, Jacob. My fault.
Okay.
My whole point of vibes, I don't think people know what the hell they mean when they say vibes and energy. It's just what they mean. It just feels good for the moment.
Oh, he said he had to go. I missed the comment. Whoops. Thanks for watching, Ray.
Jacob, my fault. I didn't mean to call you.
No, it's all good. But no, I think people just mean, when they say the vibes, I think it's just what feels good in the moment. That's what I think.
Okay. I'm assuming you mean like still have fun in a relationship, maybe,
Yeah,
or keep
I
it.
guess that's a better way of putting it.
One second. I don't. So, and it's also another layer. I have kids, so it would be, also having kids and, still being able to, I guess, keep the relationship. I don't know, man. I guess it's I don't know. I just feel like we just have fun and we joke a lot. We joke a lot. I like to go on vacations and I make sure that we go on vacations. I make sure that we go on vacations. I make sure that, like our the main time that we get together is really like these days. It's on Friday. It's on Saturdays because I got my kids like full time now. Not full time, but I got my kids like for the entire like for school. Because I live in I live in a nice neighborhood, nice school district. So my kids are with me. They see their moms on the weekend. But our main nights are Fridays and Saturdays. That's when we kind of like we spend the whole day together. It's like when we go shopping, we do we do all of that. If we want to go out on a date, we do that. But like our and I guess kind of like having a little bit of money makes it a lot easier too. Like being able to do what you want when you want to. Like not really worry about the cost of things and going out, knowing that like that's not being a factor. Like I just freestyle. Um, freestyle every Friday, every Saturday. We freestyle. What do you want to do today? And just I don't know. I just be together and just work. Just be focused on each other.
That's a good point, man. I think a lot of times, because money is a factor, that's a big focus on, a lot of beginning of most relationships is because, when if I make a irresponsible decision financially, that's going to potentially affect the family, then obviously that's going to stray away from us being able to have fun and being able to do things, spontaneous. But if finances isn't really an issue, then it does allow the door to be open to really focus on, I guess that word vibe or that energy, that you wouldn't normally have if the relationship was more about like, okay, we're working and trying to pay bills, and that's more of our day-to-day routine as opposed to where we can just freestyle our lifestyle, so to speak, kind of like how you said it.
Yeah, and neither one of us have like traditional, like she doesn't have a traditional job where she has to 9 to 5 it or nothing like that, or that's not the case. But also, I do think that you can have a nice relationship and not really have that much money. I think a lot of people just kind of like a lot of people allow the environment to get to them. And I think that's an issue in relationships. Like I tell my girl all the time, like the reason that I don't care about anything is because as long as like at the end of the day, it's going to be me and you. At the end of the day, the house can be messy. Then the dinner might not be made in time. But at the end, I'm not mad at none of that because I got you right. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Like you can clean up the house, you can cook dinner. Like all these things are like they're so simple. Like going out on it, like you don't need money to enjoy each other's company and enjoy each other's space. I think people probably just don't really like each other that much.
Right.
Like you should be able to like just be next to your partner on a couch, and that's as happy as it gets. Like, what else do you need?
Right.
Oh, it would be so much better if we had other people around us and we
Right.
were like out somewhere. That would make this so much better. Like what?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you can buy wine that you would get out and drink it in the house with your partner. Like what can you add to this to make it better? I don't know. So
I hate that when people have to be like, where are we going? Where are we going? When you say you want to hang out with someone, like, where are we going? For me and my friends, we can chill on the couch and be fine. Like, we don't have to have an event. We don't have to go to a performance. Yeah, if we want to get out, that's fine. If we want to just get cute, whatever. But for the most part, I just like to talk to them and chill. And I remember we were at this one event, and it was just a bunch of couples, and it was such a cool vibe. And the dude was just itching to get out. He could not wait. He wanted to be in a lounge. He wanted to be somewhere with the music. And everyone was like, we're having the best time. We're drinking, playing cards, listening to music. Like it was just eating good. And they ended up, of course, not working out. Now she met someone great and they're moving in a great direction. But I just feel like sometimes people have unresolved stuff within themselves if they constantly need this external stimuli and, motivation. Yeah. It's just, wow.
And a lot of at least modern women, from what I notice, a lot of them need that or they want that stimulation of like just being somewhere, like being out and all of that. And I don't know where it comes from. Like I always try to like study people and see like what do you like about being around? Like, are you like when I go out? I'm one of those guys. If I was single, if I'm going out, it's for women. I'm not going out for no other reason. I don't want to hang out with y'all. Like, I love hanging out with my homies. I love just talking. I love talking shit with my homies. But I don't want to do that in the club. I don't want to do that nowhere. If I'm going to a club, I'm going for women. I don't care about y'all. Don't try and put your arm around me and pop bottles with me. I don't care about it. I'm going for women. And if I'm not going for women, let's just hang out and somewhere chill. Let's go play pool. Like, let's go do something like that. But outside of that, I don't want to be around a bunch of people with loud music. Just the why. And I just try to understand it. And I can't understand it. Unless when people say I like to dance, I get it. Okay, whatever. But if you don't have that reason, I just want to understand why people like going out to these crowded places and things like that. Or like when people be like, oh, like the club, we just came from this place, but it wasn't really popping. There wasn't really a lot of people in there. More people would have made it better for you. Were you want to talk to all of those individuals? Like, what you like? How could more people in there have made it better for you? Like, was they going to change the music depending on how many music people are in there? Like, you just wanted to have less space to move around, and that would have did it for you. I don't
Unless
know.
you're a people watcher, that's the only time I would ever be disappointed because I'm a people watcher.
I like people watching.
Is that why you say people don't like their partner? Because you like why? What's the necessity of wanting to be around all these other people?
Yeah, because when you think about it, like a lot of women say men sometimes they stop doing things. Like I think they attribute that to like going out. Sometimes like they stop kind of like going out, and the girl like want to go on dates and things like that. And like I try to think like, because from my perspective, it's like, yo, you being you is all I want. Like, I don't want you with makeup. I don't want you with any type of additive. I don't want you in an added environment. I want you right here, and I'm happy, right? And I'm just curious, like, why people need more than that. Oh, I want you plus this dinner date, and now I'm happy. Like, I want you plus like this other environment, and now we can be happy. Like, what is it? And I just try to understand that.
I guess I mean I can see both sides of it. I can see the other side of wanting to experience things necessarily. I mean, with your partner, but I also get the other side of it, like you said, of that need of wanting to be in the mix and be out there. But wanting to be with my partner and being and doing those experiences, like I do, like I'm like, yo, I like the people watch too, so I can go out with let's say I'll go out with my my girl, whatever, and we out just people watching, just like, yo, look at this person or look at that person.
Y'all
like
are judging people. That's what is. Y'all go out judge folks.
For me, that's an experience. Like where we at and what we doing, and, especially if we in a new city or something like that. Like I could definitely see that.
That's fun, but like me and my girl favorite spot to people watch is like in downtown Philly. We'll just go grab some sweet green and just park and people watch. Like I people watch all day. I was just people watching them. Like I saw a photo of my kid's principal. I was making fun of my daughters for like showing me who their crushes was, and I was looking at the principal. It was like a class photo, and I was looking at the principal, and I was like, Dage, I'm like, what type of sex you think him and his wife have? Like, he looks so nice, but like, what type of sex you think they actually have? And
behind
like,
closed doors.
Yeah, you think they into like some crazy stuff?
Do you ever think about what the person's talking about in the moment? Like if they're making serious facial expressions, do you guys ever like say what they're talking about?
Oh yeah.
I love doing that.
I'll be
He's
like,
telling her this is the last time you can ever meet up here.
I'll be reading people's whole lives, like just by looking at them walk down the street.
Why is there such a thing? Oh my God, with some people walking, like I was talking about the bounce walk. Like I know if a man was fine, like my type to the T, and he walked like this, I wouldn't be able to take him seriously. I don't understand why some people bounce on the balls of their feet. Like that's just crazy.
He may have feet problems. That is so judgmental. So judgmental.
I don't know about that.
He just,
my nephew
walks like that, but he special needs, so I guess it's different. So
maybe that's what it reminds me. I don't know.
I got a question for y'all because we was talking about something earlier. We were talking about women and kind of like not knowing if they ugly or not. And I think a lot of people don't really know if they're ugly, but they kind of think so. But then they like, nah, I was wrong yesterday. I don't think I'm ugly.
They're all
kind of struggle with it. Yeah, like I think daily they kind of struggle with it. Like one day they feel ugly, the next day like, nah, I'm not ugly. I'm fine. But I was asking my nephew because my nephew he be complaining about stuff in his life, right? He's in high school. I think he's in like 9th grade, right? And he like be getting in trouble and stuff. So he like, yeah, I just feel like I'm going through a lot or whatever. I'm like, yo, you're not going through nothing. Like,
Right.
I'm like,
At
would you? I'd be like, yo, would you trade it all just like to be ugly? I'm like, would you prefer to be in your position right now or be ugly?
Why you gotta go there?
He said, and he's like, nah, I'd rather have all my problems. I don't want to be ugly. So like, being ugly is that serious? Like that people wouldn't like. I can ask people like, yo, would you rather have $1 million right now, $2 million, and be ugly, or just like chill out how you are? Most people gonna be like, I'm fine. I'll stay here, right? Most people not. I mean, how about y'all? What would y'all do? If
When
y'all
you're already ugly, now you just
Yeah, I'm taking the mill.
Yeah, but y'all don't know. Y'all don't like. I'm talking about ugly.
Ugly subjective.
I think about
No. Whatever in your head you think ugly is, that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
Instantly, I came to Flavor Flav.
Yeah,
ugly,
like that.
Ugly, but my man is paid. They had a whole dating show around this. Dude.
Okay, $2 million. You look like Flavor Flav. You taking that deal?
I might.
You tripping? How about you, Jacob?
I don't know. I saw Flavor Flav in Detroit with a couple bad ones. I've seen.
Right, I might take that.
Yeah, because of his status.
Yeah, but like you really like
you said everything in my life is the same, and did I just wake up tomorrow and I look like Flavor Flav?
You look like Flavor Flav, and you got to
pass on that. Yeah, I might pass.
I'm not, I don't.
But I only say ugly is I know what you mean by ugly is ugly, but you're pretty to somebody. Like, and that's you got to roll with that.
That's for ugly people though.
I don't. So
do open a lot for good-looking people. That's been proven time and time again.
Like, so I'm gonna use myself as example. I think I'm all right. I don't know what number or whatever. I don't care. But I don't see myself as ugly as hell. I don't see myself as like God's gift to women either. So I don't know. I've just never really thought about it. People tell me I'm cute, but I don't know. Hell, they might be running game.
I think you're the number that people consistently approach you at.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what
so
the hell?
If you were consistently approached by 2s, there's a probably good chance there too. If you're consistently approached by 8s, 9s, 10s,
that's different for men though.
Oh, let me look at some of these
women. Women date up. Women don't date down.
They do. They date up financially.
Yeah. But then also like men get hit on by like they like the most for one, the only women that hit on men are the ones who are not attractive anyway, right?
It is. I feel like a lot of it's with the unattractive guys too. Is like they have nothing to lose. They're like,
yeah.
Hey,
but like in every situation, think about it. Like an attractive woman, she's not approaching a man. Like, why would she do that in a million years?
The next girl approach me. I'm gonna say you ugly for approaching me. I'm gonna see how that goes. Matter of fact, somebody hit me up the other day. I'm gonna ask her. I just confirmed you were ugly. I'm gonna ask her. What does she think? See how that goes. Honestly, I'll let y'all know next show how that goes.
For a man, when a girl that's not ugly approaches you, it's like, well, it's weird. It's like, what's going on?
I would say the women that you're able to pull as a man, that should give you an indication of. So if we flip it for a girl, it's what man approaches you. For a woman, what women agree.
But also, as a man, like the women that you with, that don't mean that you can have money.
Right.
If you got money, you can have women, who bad, who's attractive.
I'm rethinking my life over here. Like I'm gonna have to see what happens tomorrow when I go outside. Like, don't talk to me. You ugly. You bringing my ratio, my average down. Look.
Yeah, no, I think for men, I'm trying to think. What would be the rule for men?
I was gonna ask in the chat, am I ugly? I don't know. I'm not gonna ask.
Nah, you're not. You're not. Like being ugly is a serious thing for like men. Men, we know when we ugly. Damn. Like girls, they'll go through it like not and never know. But like men, we know when we ugly. We just deal with it. Like if you're short, if your meat small, it is what it is. Like we understand our position in life. And you guys,
question. This is a wild. I should put this on the thing.
Actually, some men don't know when they meet small. I don't think.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, let me actually write this down before I get. I just write this like very politically correct. Do you think that a guy who has an unusually small
Here we
organ should give some sort of warning, or should she just be surprised when she opens her package on Christmas morning?
I think that men who got small meat should just get married
To each other?
to a woman.
Oh, I was like,
Just find a woman and get married. Like, stop, no need to be out here doing, the most. Just get married. And like,
but what if she's, so you're saying get married without sleeping with her?
do I think that you should express that you got small meat to a woman?
Damn.
I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I heard this saying a long time ago. Whatever you make an issue is an issue. If you make it an issue, it's going to be an issue.
What about the ladies that say he was so dope, but then when he pulled that out, I was like, I could never. Never.
Nah, definitely disclose it. Like, that's like, I wouldn't if my meat was small, like I would be intentionally dating as a small meat guy. Like, I wouldn't be dating no girl unless she's like, yo, I date men with small meat. If you don't date men with small meat, don't even look my way. I'll be turning them down.
There was one guy who said that on, I forget, he might have just brought up the conversation, but he's like, I'm unusually small. And the girl couldn't tell if he was being funny or just being really direct and like, now you can't say I didn't put it out there. And she didn't know whether to laugh or be like, take him seriously.
Do they have small meat dating sites? That would be a nice little business model. A small meat dating site.
I'm not sure what to do with
that. It's called Little Smokies.
Yeah, I don't think that would go well.
I think it would, because like certain, it's a small meat fetish actually. They got small meat fetishes, right?
No, I didn't.
What?
Yeah.
Would never.
No. I think I found that out when I was a kid watching Real Sex or something. Yeah, I was on HBO and I found that out.
Yeah.
They got small meat. They got small meat fetishes.
I am learning so much.
I think by popular demand, I don't think that will go well.
No,
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think it'd be like an STD dating site. It would be like a niche dating site, like for people. You find your match. This girl, her box is small. She can't take big.
Wait a minute. STD dating sites. What the?
Yeah, they got dating sites for STDs too. Yeah.
People who are already contaminated.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Contaminated. I gotta hurry and get out. I gotta go get. Look, I gotta get out. I gotta tag out like this. Yeah. Oh God, this is Lord.
I had such vision like a condom.
I had a different vision for my life. Like, good Lord.
Willie said, "Hell yeah!" The same way with women with high body count should disclose that.
Damn.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys heard, but Willie put or saw, I put it up. Willie put 60 minutes on the books. So that is why we are in overtime right now. So shout out to Willie. Thank you.
What are we going into? What's the time right now?
10:20, because Diane dropped 20 at the beginning.
What time is it now?
Right now 9:38. So we got about 30 more minutes, 28 more. Yeah, so we're in good hands with Allstate. All right. Anybody from the audience? What'd you say?
That's bad math, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Not like 40 minutes?
Because 8 means we're almost to 40. No, it would be 32 minutes. 32 minutes.
We're going until 10:20?
10:20, yeah.
So that would be 42 minutes, right?
Yes. I keep thinking it was 10 minutes because originally I wrote down 10. Well, you're right.
Look at you trying to.
No, I genuinely wrote down 10. I forgot it was 20.
All right.
Yeah, but I got the time right, 10:20. I just can't do my math, clearly.
True.
Okay. Let's see.
Do y'all think that because I tell people all the time, I love having this conversation too. Like when girls bring up the body count stuff and they try to fight that, and I always ask them like, "Art, do you think if a man like has been with a man in the past that he got to tell you?" And they be like, "Well, yeah, he got to tell me." I be like, "Why?" And their excuses like, "Oh, so I can make sure that he don't got like an STD." I be like, "He can just get a test for that. What are you talking about?" They be like,
Mine
yeah,
would be
well,
I wouldn't want competition across the board.
yeah.
I
They be
wouldn't
like,
want to be
well,
worried about you with the guys and the girls.
but then it's like, yeah, but like that's a double standard right there because most women have dated men in the past. I mean, women in the past, and nobody cares about that, right?
But that's because y'all don't care.
That's because y'all don't care about body count.
Yeah, I'm not arguing. I'm saying, but there are double standards or not double standards. We'll say double priorities. So, like most guys wouldn't be turned off if a woman has been in a same sex situation. Most heterosexual women would be turned off if a guy was in a same sex situation.
But that's the thing. We're talking about a woman who has the position of like, well, why my body count can't be high, but yours can.
How do you tell her what high is? Like, what number is high for you?
Well, you got to say, all right, tell me your body count, and I'll let you know. Well, so right there.
Is body count kind of like being ugly is subjective? Like,
I was gonna say, what if it's 1 over? What if you're in your mind it's 25 and she says 26?
Well, she says 26 is not 26. But I think it's hard because like I don't necessarily put a number on it. I guess it depends on your age. And plus also like with our generation, I know I'm what 31. I know the average body count for a girl, I would say the average girl in my age group by now is probably like 25, 30, I think. And then a girl that's above average would probably be like in the 40s, 50s. And then like, yeah. I think so. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yeah, Willie made a good point. He said, Yonci, help me out. What did he say? He said every year a woman's body count goes up.
Was it 1.4? What did he say?
I think he said
something a year. I think he said
4 or something a year or something.
Yeah,
like
1.4. I think something like that.
I mean, I don't know where that math necessarily comes from, but I do believe as the older you get, obviously the number is going to increase and the more body count you're going to have. So if I'm, like I said earlier, if I'm talking to a chick that's in her mid 30s, I'm already expecting her body count to be, at least somewhere in the 20s off the rip. Now, if it's, if first of all, like I said earlier, I'm not going to ask the question to begin with. I don't even want to know initially. But if it ever comes up, if I find out it's something crazy, then it's definitely it's going to taint my image of you for sure.
So I have a question. If you had a woman who lived in, let's just say, 6 different states, and in the entire state she'd only been with a handful of guys, versus a woman who's lived in the same place her whole life, you also live there, and there's a very high chance of you running into one of the guys that she's messed with, but her number is slightly lower. Which would you pick? The chick with a slightly higher count, where you're probably never going to meet someone who's dealt with her, or someone with the lower number that there's a very good chance that you have met someone who she's dealt with?
The lower.
Interesting. So you'd be more okay with running into a dude.
It's
that
not
just knowing those men exist.
What's he going to do with that? I mean,
I don't think it's about running into a dude that she's dealt with. I think it's about running into a dude that she let have her in a like dehumanizing manner. Like that's more of like a like, because if they were together or something like that, it's different. But like y'all just was fucking around. I think that's kind of how men like judge these situations. We don't want a man who hear our girl in a car, like we don't want to walk by him. Right. Versus a guy who she actually dated or something like that. We don't care. Like that's, right. But if you just hit her, if you just met her yesterday, you hit her in the car today, like, you pass her to your homie, you're like, yo, she you should that's different. We don't want that.
Yeah, that's different.
You walk by ex-boyfriend, that's cool, but
right. That's kind of what I was thinking when she asked the question. I'm thinking like ex-boyfriend, like, okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
I just still it cracks me up at how men are so adamant about valuing the low body count, but will have no hesitation to try to get a woman in bed who they know they have no interest in. Like that's I would take men more seriously if they valued sex all around. And I understand guys will say we value it differently. However, that's the one that just always trips me out. Like if
Really,
you
you don't
I'm
understand it?
gonna be honest. I've never asked a woman. Like I said, I never asked a woman her body count. Most of the time, women are more curious about that question than men are.
but you value it though. Like my thing is if you value it so much and you see it as such a shameful thing for a woman to just be out there, it's weird to me that they want her to then consent and like
Yeah.
become that same woman he doesn't respect. That's why I feel like a lot of men dehumanize a woman in their mind and just see her as a body part because they're not looking at it going, she's someone's daughter, she's someone's future wife, she's someone's little sister. Like they just see it as she's a way for me to have a good time. And that's how they justify it in their mind.
I
I'm
think
not
it,
sure. I'm
I
not sure.
think it, I think it makes sense to me. So like, it's different if a man is trying to coerce a virgin or trying to coerce a girl who he knows is a good girl and she got no low body count.
Okay.
But if you know that this girl is already this type of girl, by all means, do no, like be who you are.
But what
You
if
know?
she's not a virgin? If I may interject, what if she's not a virgin? She's only been with her boyfriend. She's had 2 boyfriends and she has 2 bodies. She's not a virgin anymore. So does she
Mhm.
still get smashed?
Yeah, that's a low body count.
But that's what I'm
That is a
saying. But now
that is,
she won't continue to have a low body count if she
Mhm.
then hooks up with you.
Well, then that means that she's a promiscuous woman, and and I'll explain why. Right? She's because you can be in a relationship and that can save you from being a hoe. But but if you're not a hoe because you're just not a hoe, that's different. But if you're not a hoe because you've been in 2 long-term relationships, but as soon as you're out of a relationship, you're willing to be promiscuous.
But what I'm
That's
saying is
different.
you guys you want her to be a hoe for you.
We want her to be who she is.
Mm.
If you
But
are a hoe, you're going to be a hoe, and if you
and
are a
you
conservative
Right.
woman, you're not
Right.
going to let me touch it.
So wait a
Right.
minute. What do you mean by hoe? He said hoe for you. I want her to.
yeah, because
I
he
want her to
said
swing from the ceiling for me, but I don't want her. When you say be
he
a
said
hoe,
there's a woman who will just be with a guy and they're in a relationship and there's a whole process, or there's a woman who's just putting out. That's what he's calling the hoe. So what I'm saying is, I personally have had men come on to me and try to finesse and coerce. It wasn't like we can sense the vibe is here. We're 2 adults. Let's get to it. It's like, come on, don't you just want to? It'll feel good. Like it's like this aggressive. And most women I know,
what is that? Okay.
Right.
oh yeah, most women I know, the guys are acting pressed like that. And then if you turn them down, it's suddenly, oh, you're this, you're that. It's like the girl who says they don't want to give the number and now you're ugly, but
Those
2
are
seconds
weird
later
guys, though.
you're asking me out. What'd you say?
Those are the weird guys, though. Like
I'm saying.
it's
That's the
it's
majority of guys, though. In my
yeah.
experience, that was the majority, that they were pressed, and I had to let them know early on, like that's
So
not
hold
what
on.
I'm trying to do.
So what happens when? So okay. So in my instance, like I said, this big age, and I got receipts. Come drop this dick off from women. What is that called? What is that called?
Promiscuous.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same, and I think I don't think that it's natural for a woman to be that way. I will go out on a limb and say that's a trauma response or someone who's disconnecting from her feminine, because that is not normal for a woman to be able to separate the physical pleasure and a relationship. Most women get attached and they don't want one without the other. So if a woman is able to just completely detach and be like, I just need some D, like I don't think that that's normal. And I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I mean, that's unusual. Like it's not the norm.
I
think the whole category comes in if she's doing that to multiple men. Like if she's sending that messages out to multiple men, then that like. But if there's a particular man that she has that connection with and she can talk that way to, I don't think that necessarily makes her a hoe.
I agree. you know,
What
Yonci,
if she does it one at a time, but she does it like every 3 months when she meets a new guy? Like, I mean, that's what happens.
I mean, and then she's, I don't know. It depends on.
She buys
Maybe
you a
she
plaid
just-
That's a
Jane person.
complicated
Maybe
equation.
she just have a high sex drive.
I think that it's so convoluted because, like, if you go biblical, it makes it black and white and it's very easy. If you're not married, you're not clapping cheeks. Like, that makes it so simple. But if you take away that, like, the ethical side of it, there's so much gray to it.
I don't think
Because
so.
on the one hand, you have guys saying, I couldn't take her seriously. I couldn't know that I wanted to wife her unless I smash. So he's saying, I need a test drive. So if you test drive and you're not feeling it, because if you're saying I need a test drive, that means that there's an option it can go either way. So if you test drive it and you're not feeling it, now you put her back out there. Now she got more miles to her. So it's like this whole system doesn't work for women. It only works for men. And then
I
the
think it
women are
does.
shamed by the very guy who is creating the system. Like it
Listen.
to me, it's the most absurd.
Listen, Yonci, this is the system right here, right? The system is, as a man, it is my job to have sex with you with saving the most amount of resources as possible. So I want to spend as least amount of money as possible and the least amount of time as possible in order to have sex with you, right? And as a woman, you want me to give you as many as my resources and spend as much time as possible with you before you have sex with me. So as much as you can extract from me, do it, and as much as I can get from you without giving you anything, that's the game, right? So if I give you everything from the gate, right? What does that mean? How do you view me? You view me as a dweeb, as a sucker, as a simp, right? And you'll probably take as much as you can from me and then just be like, you're not really my type. And if I get what I want from you without giving up really much of anything, then you're not my type, right? You're just probably like a whore and you're just not for me. But if I make you, put in time and effort until I expend those resources on you, you're going to respect me a lot more. And if you make me put in time and effort and expend my resources, I'm going to respect you a lot more. So it's a game, right? And if a woman wants to be one of the losers of the game, she'll give up her resources to him very early on, and he'll spend as least money as possible, and he won. Now, if that doesn't happen, then she wins, right? Is if I know that you made me spend $3,000 or $4,000 over the course of 3 months of dating you, then I can't tell my homies, yeah, I smashed her. Yeah, it's I can't say that I disrespectfully, my recollection of you won't be a whore, right? Because I had to work to get what I wanted from you. So it's different for that type of woman versus a woman who's like, oh, I met her in the club and then we smashed, or I was texting you for a week and we smashed. Because you made me expend resources. So it's that body goes down differently, if that makes sense.
So I would say that there is an exchange, that women do want something in exchange for sex. But I think for most women, it's heavy on the fidelity, like the love. Like she wants to know she's not just a body. So does she also want this financial security? Yes. But she also values things like the loyalty and actually loving her and cherishing her and being into her and not just being a body. And so what's that?
I disagree with that. I think there's some women that initially see a man and know right away that I want to have sex with him.
But they still know that they got to play the game. They know that they got to receive something from you in order to.
But I think there's a difference. Sorry, Mom. I think there's a difference between, not some women know, all women know that, like, all women know immediately on sight if they would sleep with a guy. Like, it's just part of attraction.
I'm talking about like right away.
Oh, you mean sleep with them right away, not knowing it?
There's some women that know, like, okay, this is somebody that
I agree that those people exist.
This is a one night stand. This is a fling. Like, they made up in their mind that that's what they want.
And that's why I was saying I don't think that those women are healthy women. I think they have detached from a lot of the way that they're naturally created, because we are naturally we naturally bond, we naturally form attachments. And so I think that it is unnatural for a woman to do that. Again, it's not a judgment, it's just an observation.
I disagree with that part too, because like you hear women say, like I'm gonna use the extreme of like let's say Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've heard my aunts say like, oh, if I had one chick, like you know what I mean, like they would be on board if Michael B. Jordan was open and down with sleeping with them the same night they met, they would do it.
And not ever talking to him ever again.
Right.
Let me only speak for myself. For me, I would feel like a piece of meat. That it would be traumatizing for me. Like I would feel disgusting. I would feel like this person just got what he wanted and left. I wouldn't value that and be like, yeah, I want to. Because a lot of men will say it's a two-way exchange. You're getting me, I'm getting you.
Don't leave out the part I said it's Michael B. Jordan.
Like no, that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't matter to me. And I've actually
big difference.
Yeah, but I've had multiple run-ins with multiple celebrities. I've dated a celebrity. Like it's to me, they don't get treated any differently. I still feel like I'm just as valuable and I want to feel like I'm a person. Even worse with a celebrity because I feel like it's like just because you're a celebrity, you just expect me to spread my legs. Like I'd be more offended, you know? So I don't see it as like a bonus that I get to sleep with a guy. I see it as a bonus that he's in love with me. That's what makes me go, yeah, he's in love with me. Now, Michael B. Jordan was my type of guy, and he was like, out of all the women in the world, I love you. I want to wife you. That would make me feel kind of special because I'm like, dang, he got options. But smashing, I'm like, man, smash a mannequin if they could. You know, like the guys don't get value.
I know that women do. I agree that women do want to be loved and cherished and those type of things, but I don't think that that's a necessity for a woman to have sex with a man. I think in order for a woman to have sex with a man, the basic level is that she needs to feel comfortable. She needs to feel, just needs comfort around him. But outside of that, I think in order for her to like cover her bases, the covering the bases is like how many dates has he taken me on? How much time is he spending texting me? I think there's an equation for a woman to not feel like she's been used, or a woman to feel like, okay, he's put in enough work or enough investment in order for me to give him this in exchange.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
there definitely needs to be a level of comfort because women will feel the arousal. Like, they'll say, oh my God, I had to leave. Like I was woof. Like they'll feel that, but not want to do it because they don't want to feel used or they don't want to feel like a hoe. They don't want to feel, there's all these things versus most guys don't have that care. And so they're just they're going to just go for it. There's no downside for them.
Yeah, I know me, like as you get older, you have that, you start to have that, but when you're young, you don't got it as much. But yeah, I think it's completely reasonable why a man would want to have sex. Well, from your case, when you talking about like men trying to get girls with low body counts or who seem to have like self-respect and push them to like have sex with them, I think that's weird for them to get like upset or to feel weird if you don't want to do it. That's completely weird to me. I understand them trying it just to kind of like see how far they can, take you and see if you really about that life. But I think that's how you earn a man's respect. Like I can think of one girl who did not have sex with me, even though I thought I was going to have sex with her, and she was just like, no. I remember that girl, and I'll probably never forget that girl because she got my respect. Like she got my respect. She didn't give it up. So, yeah, that's how and if you a girl that gives it up fast, it is what it is. I think you got winners and you got losers. Like, and you
know what it takes from it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can make that decision. It's your decision. You have a choice. You can sleep with men fast or you can not sleep with men fast, and you'll be wifey.
That's what I want women to do more of, is like I call it step into their power. Like it's like a car has the driver's seat, but in the fictional world of dating, it's like a vehicle having two driver's seats. And I say like the women have the brakes and the man has the gas pedal. Like obviously he can put the brakes on too, but typically as the leader, it's going to naturally brake if he just doesn't do. So a woman, she has the ability to slow things down and say, I'm not ready yet, or I require this first. And too many women I see just going with the program as though they don't have an option. And that really makes me sad. Like women will say like, what do I do? He's treating me bad. He's doing it. It was like, you don't even have to be in that relationship. What are you talking about? Like,
Mm.
Unless you're in physical danger, just pack up and leave. Like, you don't have to be in a situation where you're not happy. And so many women act like they have no power in the situation, or he wants to sleep with me. So you don't have to sleep with him.
That's how I feel when I hear people talk about like, oh, like why do men feel like they can cheat, but like the girl can't do it or something like that? You can do what you want to do. What type of question are you asking?
Yeah.
If you want to cheat, then cheat. But if you like, it don't matter how men feel. Like you come into a like those people who like, I got kids, but you know, if you got kids, you got to date people with other kids. No, you don't. You can date people who without kids if that's what you want to do. You can have no money and require somebody to have money. Like, do what you want. Like, you don't have to like.
You might not get the results you think you're gonna get, but
Yeah.
do you?
It's gonna be slim pickings for you, but you know, there's people out there. So you know, yeah, it always baffles me when people.
You see those one channels? I forget what the network is that has like, what's the network that has 600-pound life? What's that network? Do you remember?
I don't know, but the people with like the poly dating shows and all that.
Like, there's someone for everyone. I saw some crazy show, and I was like, I couldn't even finish it because I was watching like this, but it was like a couple couples who wanted to turn into a throuple, and just seeing like throuple, meaning like there's 3 people in the relationship. It's like
it was more, I guess.
It was crazy, and it was like just all the things that like you could find people who wanted, you know, men and women with an extra. You could find this. I'm just like, wow, there is something out here for everyone. So
to your point, you gotta be like don't be the best version of yourself. And there's somebody who will be your kind of weird or your kind of whatever.
Your flavor of weird.
Yeah, and you gotta be patient with that. Be confident in yourself. I think I can speak for guys. I think they're not comfortable in who they are, or they don't know who they are, and then they get on and write weird questions like that guy wrote before, why he can't approach a woman nowhere. He just not confident in who he is. When you know who you are, what you ask, and she says no, you keep it moving. You don't even talk about it. Like, it's not even
that
something relevant. Like, man, like I said, I've had my younger days. I've been in the club. I went 0 for 12. I forgot it the next morning. Didn't care. Like, I don't understand why you want to fuss about. You know, you just move on to the next spot. So that brother has something going on. The whole thing about body count and smashing. I mean, my opinion's a little bit different. I was a late bloomer. I grew up Kojic, and so that had a lot to do with my upbringing. Like, I didn't have sex till I graduated college, and so because that's what you just didn't do. Like, nobody, like, it just wasn't a thing.
Look at you now, dropping dick off.
DoorDash, it's D-Dash.
She hit me with that. Like, it's crazy. So when y'all are saying certain terms, I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, I seriously, when she asked me that, I was like, what the hell does that even mean? And of course, she explained it. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It's I've got like women say some wild crap to me, and it's just like, I don't know if they're shooting a shot or this is what's out here. But man, I got some weird DMs. I get some weird text messages.
They out here. The women are aggressive. I heard that women are more aggressive than men, and I had a lesbian slide in my DM years ago, and I was traumatized. She came on more aggressively than any guy had.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some, like, I've been emailed by a husband. A
pastor.
A pastor called me. Like, I've had some weird experiences. I've had like somebody text me, want to fuck the shit out of you. That old lady hit on me at work. Like, I've just had, like, maybe it's just me and I accept it. I don't trip on it. But
you ever had a guy hit on you?
I got a story.
Story time.
I didn't know at the time. I'm just be talking. I'll be honest. I was in college.
Okay.
Somebody left a note on my car. and it was written like a woman, and I'm so glad my boy was with me.
Little hearts on the eyes.
Yeah, I mean, like the big cursive writing and all that, and we was like, man, I wonder who it is, and found it was a dude, like crazy as hell. That's my I guess my ever been hit. That's it. That's as close I ever came. And of course I was like, hell nah. But
Bro, choose different words. Close I ever came. Dutch.
I feel like
here we go.
I feel like it's nothing wrong with like with a guy hitting on you, right? You know, or saying like, hey, you know, are you gay too, or something like that. What I don't like is when they try to like do it like the friendly way. That's so weird to me. They try and the bro stuff, like that's the craziest thing ever. Like, yo, just be like gay in a like outward way. Like, don't like blur the lines between
wave your
and
rainbow
gay.
flag.
Like, that's just crazy. Like, stop doing that. You putting pee in the pool of like whatever pool that is, but like the friendship pool of like now you got to watch out for guys that's cool. That's like, you know, that's like overly friendly and stuff like that. Like, just be straight up, like be straightforward with it. Like,
now that's the bit of it. Well, I don't know. They say the down lows in Atlanta, but most cats or guys, they just out. Like, you just know.
Okay.
But other cities I lived in, it's like taboo, and so they can't be.
Interesting.
Like, yeah, people don't have no problem telling you they're gay. At least in Atlanta, what I've seen. It's just it's cool because it's no one cares and people just out with it. But I don't know. It's really. I hear him. Is him laughing? I thought I heard him laughing.
Oh no, he dropped off
in the background. He hates Atlanta.
Right.
But it's one of the few
Willie hate Atlanta.
You can just be out and nobody cares.
We should send him that as a Christmas gift, a one-way ticket to Atlanta.
Have y'all ever y'all know them people who you grow up with and they like seem gay, and then somebody tell you like, oh no, he's just metrosexual. He's not gay.
Happened to me. I was dressing in front of him. I was like, we don't need to talk about what's obvious. Like, I just treated him like my gay guy friend.
Mm-hmm.
One day he was like, started talking. He said something that made me think like, I guess he's straight. And I was like, my brain, I'm going back like all the things that help me fix my bra. You know.
Y'all be doing, guys.
Have y'all ever met anybody like that who ended up not being gay?
Yeah,
eventually? I've never met nobody like that.
Yeah, but see, this is my question though. So I know someone. I was just discussing this like 2 days ago, and I was like, he gives me feminine. Like, there are some men who just give me feminine, and I don't mean, there are all different types of feminine. There are some who are like that kind of feminine, and then there are other ones that are like more like I guess metro would be the word to say it. Like they're I was gonna say neat and tidy, but that's stupid because I know a lot of straight guys are neat and tidy. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like you could just sense it. They just lack that. Like, there's no in there, and that's the only way I can describe it.
Brothers. So we had this conversation.
I'm like, are you just not out? Or like,
we had this conversation over Thanksgiving, and I gotta be careful because my family might watch this. And one of my relatives brought her male friend over, and they laughed. And we were like, man. So I asked my relative. I'm being real careful here, guys. Mm-hmm. I was like, "What you think?" Oh, he metro. I was like, well, what did you mean by that? Oh, he's gay. Like, and he just dressed really neat. He was just really put together. But they just they threw him in the gay category. I was like, what makes you say that? I don't know. It's just the way he is.
Yeah, there's energy.
He never said exactly what it was, but it was like,
I've seen clear nail polish. There was somebody that we interacted with, right? I was with someone else, and I was like, it wasn't even a question. I was like, oh, this person's gay. Like, it wasn't even a question. And then we were talking later, and they were like, oh no, he has kids. And I was like, first of all, that doesn't mean anything. But I was like, mannerisms, like lip gloss, look like lip gloss, doesn't look like lip chapstick, clear nail polish. But it's mostly mannerisms, like, especially when guys are comfortable using like girl lingo, you know, like, you'd be like, and did you know, and they're being serious, like that kind of stuff.
like, boy, you sound like my aunt when the guy did the jazz handstand. Like she
Right.
just like,
Or suck their teeth. And you're like, oh. So that kind of stuff makes me pause. I actually dated a guy,
dang.
and after the fact, I was like, I really went, because I was so young, I didn't really know, like I wasn't exposed to a lot of stuff, but I looked back and I was like, there were so many things that were questionable. And I hate to say this, but like in the church, especially the Black church, there's so many guys who are like very flamboyant. And so I thought that all the guys he hung around were very feminine, but he didn't strike me as effeminate. And then I'll never forget, my brother met him, one of the few guys my brother ever met, and he hugs me and he says, I said, hey, he's like, hey, you know your boyfriend's gay, right? All right, I'll catch you later. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh my God. And I started thinking back, I'm like, all the guys he hangs out with are all super effeminate. He wasn't really aggressive, and I was used to most of the guys being very aggressive, you know, at least trying to kiss and all this stuff. He was like immaculate with his stuff. Like everything would be ironed and, you know, be lotioned. And I remember his couches were all floral, like all floral. And I'm thinking, well, I wonder if it was a hand-me-down from his parents, you know, and he didn't have the money to furnish. He had every bath and body work lotion and soap in each restroom. He had the towel that had the little ribbon. You know how you go to your mom's house or their grandma? He had the ribbon tied around and then the coordinating bath and body. So I was like, it seemed like all the signs were there after, but then I was like, each individual one, you could kind of justify. Like I could maybe see Mont having custom like soaps just based on, I know he takes skincare routine, but Mont does not give me gay. Like Mont does not give me bi. So it's like a lot of the things that someone that I would say, oh, these are telltale signs, a different guy could do it and you wouldn't question it. But it's like you already have that soft life vibe and then you have those other things. It's just like,
damn.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy for men. Oh, at least as me, like I think it's easy to tell like a man that's gay. Like I feel like as a man, you just kind of, or for me, I just know when somebody different. There's just something about them that's just different. And you can kind of sniff it out. Pause. But yeah, pause. But yeah, I know what I mean. Like you can tell, I can tell every time. But yeah, I've never met somebody who like people say, "Oh no, he's not gay. He just feminine." I never met somebody who actually wasn't gay when they grew up. Like I think you can, and I know it's controversial. You can, a lot of times you can tell a gay boy when he's like 3 years old.
I have family members who came out the womb, like
yeah,
and learn to walk like this.
I gotta get out the game. It ain't safe out here.
You can tell that early sometimes.
It ain't safe out here. Good Lord.
You notice how many women, okay, so this age, they'd be about like 70 now, but like it'd be my parents' generation of the women who had roommates and they all had that same butch haircut and they'd all wear like cargo pants. Like Aunt Judy. Like you ever like this? It was before it was okay to be out. And there'd always be like that lady with that short haircut. Why y'all act like you don't know what I'm talking about?
I'm not entertaining this.
Linda and her roommate. She's had a roommate for like 40 years.
Okay, we got to get back to the relationship stuff. All right, okay, what somebody ask a relationship question or something about love or something. Like we got to bring this back. We out here talking about gay stuff and come on now. Look.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anywho, let's see what else we can get.
You might got a praise report or a dating report or something. Like let's a good time.
I have a praise report. My back finally stopped hurting.
Yo, who?
My back finally stopped hurting.
Having back issues. I didn't know that.
It just randomly started hurting. I woke up one day. This is when you know you're getting old. When you
you woke up and had back problems. All right, okay. Hey.
When there was like no activity and you just bloop, just woke. Like I just felt like
that
something
you know of. Like, hey.
when I was consenting. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, sometimes like, look, hey, just you stay asleep. Look, I
Oh
just
my remember that girl who was like, "Don't you tap me in the middle of the night."
hey.
No, but it was hurting randomly for like months on end, and then one day I just woke up and it was gone. I was trying every stretch. I was trying like
Oh, he stretched
twisting.
you out. All right, okay. All right.
Okay, Billy Jr.
Yes. I know what that means. Yeah.
Not him saying clean it up, man, and then him immediately taking it to the gutter. He was like,
Hey, straight it up. Look, do what you got to do.
"Oh my
Stretch
god."
it out. You know, look.
Clean what up? What y'all talking about?
Yeah.
We lost him for a second there.
Oh,
But you know what? I think a lot of people take for granted having a clean bill of health. Or like, like, oh, I'm sick and they're just really complaining like it's a cold. But when you've actually had a major injury or you've had a health scare and you're waiting for results to come back or whatever, like that's something I don't play with. And so there are so many times where I'll just be randomly walking through my house and I'll just stop and have a praise break and just be like, thank you, God, or just acknowledge him verbally and just say, thank God that my kids are healthy because, there are people who kids have been in the hospital since they were born. You got crazy medical bills and just all this stuff. So
Janice said she had back issues too. Okay, Janice. Sorry, well, I don't need to ask about Janice anymore. She having back issues solved.
threw her back out too,
Hey, look, Janice, I'm happy for you.
She said, so thankful to remain chaste, no worries about a bum getting me pregnant. Oh, Jacob, you're face.
I hate it here. All right, okay. What we talking about? It's got to be something we like. Let me change
not
subject.
a bum, not a Pookie.
Damn.
Okay, so would anyone be mad if we talk about the Jamie Foxx special?
Okay,
what's up with the Jamie Foxx special?
You haven't seen it?
Mm-mm.
It was really, really, really cool. So we thought it was going to be like a comedy special. He mixed in comedy.
Oh, wait, somebody said kids aren't gay by age 3. I completely disagree with that.
Well, I think that gay. Well, she said I'm in treatment. Oh wow, I think that gay is an action. That's how I always distinguish it. Like,
I'm
when
sorry.
you take action, I don't necessarily think that little children have sexual preferences at age 3. However, I think that some children can be effeminate. That's probably a better way of me saying it. I think that you could be effeminate in your body language and things like that, which makes you go, do they end up liking the same sex because people put them in that box because that's how they're coming across? Or is that really what they lean to? But then not all gay people act the same. You know what I mean? Like there's some guys very masculine. You would never know they're gay. And then you're like, whoa. So there's so much we don't understand.
It's a spectrum, but also like I do think some people might be like gay, like to the point that like it's inside their blood type of, it's in everything that they do. Like I'm trying to tell you, I've met some little boys who's like, yo, listen, like I bet my house that you're going to grow up and like other boys.
My daughter had a friend who was like, hey, I mean, he said, I am asexual. No, he said, I think he said he was bisexual. There's this thing now where these kids are identifying, putting labels and all kind of stuff. And I'm like, there's not a stigma either. That's what's wild. Guys can be like, oh, I'm bi. And the girls are like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, my daughter, she's like, she has a friend and he's like, oh, yeah. I was like, what's up with, everyone says, he's like, oh, he's a gal pal. I was like,
he's for the girlies, they say.
Like, what the hell? What y'all know? Like, they're in middle school. I'm like, what the hell, y'all?
But they're okay dating. Like, there's not a stigma. Like, for us, there was a stigma. Like, if a guy used to, like, date guys, when we used to, the woman wouldn't want to deal with it. But now it's like, hey, whatever, whatever floats your boat.
Oh, Jesus.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah, I gotta get out the game.
Y'all have any praise reports? Or did you do any D deliveries? I should put those in the two sets.
No. I ain't never gotten down like that. I've been one of those.
You got self-respect.
In a relationship type of thing. Like I've always tried to be with somebody. Like I may have one I regret it, but other than that,
I don't know. I mean, you got too many scenarios where you just kind of like find yourself in a mess. So I don't know, man. I don't know. You got pastors calling you. You got girls texting you to drop dick off. You like,
And,
it's
and
a lot.
it's the
I
not
mean,
on everything. I swear. And, I'm
Girls
just
giving you
hearing.
gays to put on your office desk and stuff like this.
Like that was a long
That
time.
don't just happen randomly.
I mean, something is provoking this. Have y'all ever called out the wrong name in an intimate moment?
Nah.
No. I might have like recalled a situation and like got the wrong girl, but
Remember when we? Oh, never mind.
it's like when we was watching that movie. We seen that together. Oh, what? You sure?
Remember that time I put your legs so far? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, I see. You lucky I'm sleepy. I know you probably think in your head like, "Oh, I'm about to surprise them." You're not. I know what time it is.
Are we done?
I'm just.
My hand was hovering right here.
She thinks she about to surprise us. Like, you're not about to surprise nobody.
Shady
We're
ass.
allowing you to do this. It's like
Fine.
you have permission tonight.
Okay, what time is it? We got what, a minute left? 60 seconds.
It's 11:20 now.
Here we go.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't like your tone.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for showing up for work, even though you don't get paid.
Yeah. So we will see you again for work next week.
Peace.
All right, y'all.